Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie, and today I have 27 of my Halloween DIYs that I've made so far this year in 2023 to share with you, and I hope you enjoy.
Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean, yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Loving the skeletons dancing to my theme song. Let's get crafting. So the first DIY, I want to make a set. So I'm going to do two different ones that are going to hang together in a set. And what I want to do with this is a pair of bat wings. I think that's going to look really cool hung together. And I want to make the bat wings out of burlap. So I am going to take one of these little burlap bags from the Dollar Tree. I love crafting with these. Super easy to cut and they don't fray. Even though I think this might look a little bit better if you used real burlap. You can decide once you see how this looks. Now I needed two plain signs that were about the same size. And I do have a set of these from Dollar Tree. You could pretty much use anything. You're probably going to want like a rectangular sign like this. Now these have frames, but it's totally not necessary for this if yours don't. I just went ahead and taped all of my frames off so I don't get any paint on them. And then I'm just going to use white acrylic paint. And we're going to paint that entire brown sign in the background white. Now the acrylic paint is rather thin, so I am going to have to do a couple of coats to get good coverage here. And what I wanted to do was a white background with black bat wings on this one. And then I thought it'd be fun to make the black bat wings out of burlap. And I'm also going to add a few more burlap touches to this. It actually ended up turning out really cute. I'm glad I did it. I'm just going to do like the wing parts, but like not the body. And I'm going to hang them as a set for Halloween. I really love like black and white together for Halloween. I just love that. I think it looks so cool. And I think burlap just naturally kind of goes with it. So that was my theme for all of these DIYs today. Gonna go ahead and remove all of my painter's tape. I was just using Dollar Tree painter's tape. It didn't work perfect, but it worked pretty good. So I can just switch to a tiny brush and touch up any areas that might have been missed to give it like more of a professional background. You could always use some of the removable white wallpaper from Dollar Tree too for the background if you wanted. They have like the white board. Now I cut out the front and the back of the little burlap bag and I just want sheets. So on those, I'm going to draw on the back and I kind of looked at a bat wing. It has a dot here, 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 and then the bottom has a lot more dots, little sections. So I kind of dotted out where I wanted them to be. So I'll use most of my burlap and then I'm just going to connect it. It's all super easy. Everything's kind of arched except for the top one, which is kind of arched out. So I just used a picture for reference on my phone, but you know, as long as you have all these little sections in the bat wing, it is going to look pretty good. Now I just put them face to face so that I could cut out like a mirror image in reverse. So I could just go ahead and cut this once. And this is one reason I love crafting with these burlap bags is that they're so easy to cut. So that looks pretty good. Now I don't want my bat wings to be brown though, so I'm gonna go ahead and paint my burlap. So I'm just using black acrylic paint and I am going all over. I'm using a foam brush to try to get it down in the burlap. I did notice my bat wings were a little splotchy in the end, and originally I thought about using one of those little Dollar Tree rollers, and I kind of wish I would have. I might have got a little bit more of an even coat, but that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here on the second one. And it's going to be really kind of a simple effect with just the two black bat wings, but I kind of like that. I love the simplicity of the black and white together without all the colors like interfering with it. So I went ahead and did one coat on both, and gotta be kind of careful drying this since it does have plastic backing. And we can go ahead and start setting up our first one. We're just gonna have it come from the side like that. And I did a really good job of filling up most of our little background sign there. And I just do a thick coat of Mod Podge all over the back. Because again, it's plastic. I didn't really want to melt that with hot glue. And then I am going to just sit it right here on our sign, gluing it down, trying to make sure all the areas are secure. Easy peasy. Now we just have to do the same thing here for the second one. I do a nice thick coat because I'm going to be hanging these on the wall. I want to make sure they don't fall off. And you also have that plastic on there, so I don't know if that interferes with it. Now my advice is definitely line them up like this so you will get them even when you go ahead and put that down, because you do have a little bit of play with the plastic backing on there that you can kind of move it around a little if you needed. That's when I kind of noticed some blotchiness, so I went in and just kind of touched it up a little bit here and there. But again, you might want to use a roller if you have one. I have those really cheap rollers from like the Dollar Tree for $1.25. But that's how it looks so far. Now I wanted black, white, and burlap. So I have the burlap wings, but I also wanted like the burlap color. So I'm going to use some of those burlap trims from the Dollar Tree. And I am just going to hot glue that onto my frame all the way around. I really love these little burlap trims. They come with 3 different kinds on a roll. And I kind of wish they would package them separately, because when you want to do a project like this with all the same, you got like, I ended up having to use like 3 packages. 2 of them might have been partials already, but they have 1 yard of each on there. And so I do definitely want them to all be the same. And I'm just going to keep hot gluing those around. And I'm really glad that I added that touch to it. I think it gave them a lot more character, because the frame itself was a little bit plain. And that's why I said it doesn't really matter if you have a frame, because you could still frame them out with burlap like this, and you're going to get pretty much the same effect. These already have hangers like built into the back of them, these little blank signs from Dollar Tree. So I think these 2 are ready to go. And this is how they turned out. I don't have them hanging up yet, but I just kind of set them up like this so you can kind of see how they look. And I think it's a really fun idea for a very simple Halloween DIY. And definitely have to display those as a set. Now our next DIY, I want to use one of these little black frames from the Dollar Tree. I thought black would be great because the black, white, and burlap, right? And we're going to use a burlap canvas, and I want to paint a really cute white ghost on there. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove the back, the glass, all that from the frame. Not going to need the glass because we're going to replace that with the burlap canvas. I do have to get rid of the staples. My advice on getting rid of those is to bend them back down before you pull them out, because sometimes those Dollar Tree frames can break. Now they also like to fall apart on the corners when you force a burlap canvas in them. I know from experience. So I'm just going to use my staple gun and go all the way around and staple to reinforce each corner. I like the fact that it's black. I think that's super cool. It does look a little bit plasticky, and I do end up painting it black just to kind of get rid of that sheen. Now I'm just going to use this little metal ghost from the Dollar Tree as a stencil, but a ghost shape is pretty simple if you don't have one. You can kind of make it your own too. So I just lay that against my burlap canvas, and I'm just using a white paint pen to trace that out. I can also trace out where the eyes and mouth are going to be. And it gives me this really cute, kind of cartoon, cute ghost for our little sign. And then I'm just going to go in with some white acrylic paint, and I am going to paint that all in. I used a little brush because I kind of wanted to go around the little details here of the face, but it did make it a little bit more time consuming. But I'm just going to go all the way around all of that. And like, it'd be really cute if you did like a ghost with a tail too, if you were going to like freehand it or use any kind of a stencil. This one just kind of got like a wavy sheet bottom, which is fine because I just wanted a really simple little silhouette of a ghost. I think this would look really cool with like a white skull on it as well if you wanted to do the skull root. And they do have the metal skulls at the Dollar Tree too if you want to use it as a template. I'm going to have to try to get the paint off of my ghost from just using it as a template. I did get some white paint on it. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the rest of our little ghost. Whenever you're working with real burlap like this, it's really kind of hard to get good coverage. I do touch it up here in a little bit with a second coat because I felt you could see too much of the brown burlap through it. Now to attach it, I just do a bead of hot glue all around the inside of my frame, and this one fit perfectly in there. So this is what we have so far. You wouldn't have to replace the back if you were just going to hang it on the wall. I want mine to be a standing sign, so I just put hot glue all on the back of the burlap canvas and then just lay the existing back panel of the frame on there and we can stand it up. So that part was really easy. This is when I was like, you know, I really don't like how much of that burlap I can see through there, so definitely a second coat of white acrylic was needed. And I was kind of leave it like this, but I thought it was a little bit too plain. So I'm going to take it up a notch. The first thing I do is I did a couple of coats of black acrylic on the frame. It's just going to give a matte finish where before it kind of had a little bit of a plastic sheen. And as you can see, that really makes a big difference. And then I'm going to use some of that leftover burlap bag to make a little banner. I also thought it would be cuter with his eyes and mouth colored in black, right? So I'm just going to use a black paint pen and go in there and color that in. And I'm really glad I added more details to him. He definitely needed more. So his super easy little ghost face. And this was just the bottom of that burlap bag that we used for the bat wing. So we might as well use all of our craft material. And I just want a little piece to make a little mini banner because I thought it would be cute if he was holding like a little pennant banner in his hands because he is a little plain there. So I just cut out a little rectangle of that, leaving a seam on one side for the top of the pennant. And I'm going to go ahead and paint mine black just for a little bit more contrast. So I just used black acrylic, painting it very similar to the black bat wings. Then once it's dry, I can go in and just start cutting out little triangular pieces. I only need 3, so I'm just going to go ahead and use one as a template to cut out the other 2, making sure they're all shaped like triangles. And then I wanted just to put the word boo on there. I think it's going to fit perfectly. The only problem I had was using my white paint pen on the black. Didn't want to really make it pop too much. And so I did try a couple coats. I did notice that it was still kind of fading into the black. So I went in with a tiny brush and some white acrylic just to try to make it brighter. I really wanted that contrast of the boo. And then I'm just going to string that on the front of the ghost canvas like he's holding it with both of his little ghost arms. And even with the acrylic, I did have to go over it a couple of times. Definitely painting on the black burlap was a little challenging. Now for the string, I'm just going to use some Dollar Tree twine. I think that's going to be the perfect size for him. And I really love the absence of color on this project. So I just cut out a piece that's long enough. And I'm just going to kind of drape it by attaching it with hot glue to the top of both of his arms and letting it drape down. I didn't want to keep a very even shape, so I do kind of tack down that little area in the middle with a little bit more hot glue to kind of give it the arch shape it should have. And once I get that where I want it, I can go ahead and attach our little mini pennants. So cute. And I'm so glad I added this detail to him. It really made him. If you wanted, you could always do a scarier version of this. I kind of like cute Halloween sometimes, and this is definitely a cute Halloween. Just making sure everything is secure and even. And this little ghost burlap black and white DIY is complete. I think it's so cute and it was really fun to make. And this is how he turned out. I really think the burlap mixed with the black and white is really awesome for Halloween. I'm definitely going to do a whole black and white area with today's DIYs. Isn't he cute? I love him. Okay, the next DIY was really easy because I found one of these little cathedral window signs from Dollar Tree that was already black. But you know what? It would be super easy to paint one of those black if you found one that was the wood or the white. But it just saves me a step. Now, I want to cover up where it says home. I also want to add some of these really cute little wood ghost ornaments from the Dollar Tree. And so I just do a coat of white acrylic on both of our ghosts and on that little sign to cover up the writing that was already on there. I've noticed when I've removed that sign before, it leaves like a lot of like little nails and stuff like that and glue damage. So sometimes it's better just to go ahead and leave that on there and try to redecorate it to match how you want. Now I did forget to fill the little ornament hole, so I'm going to flip that over, try to fill those up with a little spackle and maybe a little on the front too to try to hide that. You could always do a little bow on there if that bothered you. But they don't really need a hole on there because we're just going to glue those onto the window like they're kind of coming out of the window of the house. So we do a second coat on both of those to get those that nice white color, make it pop. And I do want to keep the black, white, and burlap, so I'm going to use some of the burlap ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I guess it's a ribbon burlap roll, and it's a little bigger than what I need, so I'm just going to cut it down to size. To get a nice square cut, the best way to do that is just to pull out a whole string, and then you are going to be able to see that so you can cut straight across the burlap really easily. So I'm going to use that as a measure so that I can pull out another string here for the bottom part. Sometimes it's just tricky to try to get the right string, and then I am just going to keep cutting that down to size. I want to put the word "Hey Boo" on the bottom of that. I thought it would be funny. And I have some of those little galvanized metal letters that I think are going to fit on there. Now to glue it down, I didn't want any visible hot glue like melting through that. So I just did a thick layer of tacky glue and then laid the burlap right on top. Now, if you see these little galvanized letters at Dollar Tree, be careful. You're only getting half the alphabet, so you have to keep that in mind. And I'm going to spell out the word "Hey Boo." It barely fits, but it fits. So I thought that'd be really fun. So to attach those, I'm just going to hot glue on each one of the galvanized metal letters. I'm just going to leave them the metal color. I think that's going to be a fun little contrast. And it doesn't really compete with the black and white and burlap theme that we've got going on. But I did have to put them right next to each other to get it to all fit. I guess otherwise you could just put Boo. I put Boo on my last go, so I didn't really want to do that again, just to mix it up a little bit. And that looks pretty good. I love that the cathedral window is already black, so we can just add the little white ghost to it. This DIY was so easy, and it turned out so cute. I love these little ghosts. I have another project with those coming up later on in the video, too. So I just do a little hot glue. I want them to look like they're kind of floating through the air, like maybe like they just came out of the window of a haunted house. And here they are. I think they look super cute. Let me show you how these look. Hanging in my home. I love them. And if you can find one of the black cathedral windows like that, it's just kind of a no-brainer. It's perfect for Halloween. Hey, Boo. Isn't that cute? I've done, I think, a lot of different seasonal DIYs with those little cathedral windows. I always love how they turn out. Now, I found this burlap at Dollar Tree, and I was like, hey, it's perfect. Black, white, and burlap, right? It is striped, though, which is not, like, very Halloween, but we're going to make it work. I thought I could cover a Dollar Tree vase, and we could do a really fun black eyeball flower arrangement with those fun flowers from Dollar Tree. So whenever you use this rolled burlap from Dollar Tree, it's all wrinkled and it makes it hard to work with. So one of the first things I usually do is go in and iron it. I have a Cricut Easy Press on my workstation, so I'm going to take advantage of that. But it definitely makes working with it a lot easier. While that heats up, I'm just going to go ahead and try to trim it down a little bit so I can get, you know, about the right size that we're going to need. But I like to iron mine upside down so you don't get any of whatever design is on there. A lot of those burlaps have designs on them from the Dollar Tree now. I don't want any of that coming on my iron. So just like before, I'm going to, you know, measure how big I need and then pull out the string so I'll know where to cut that down to size. That measurement there is probably the most important, going up and down, and then we're just going to simply attach the burlap to the vase with a bead of hot glue. And I decided vertical. It's a nice skinny vase, so I think the vertical stripe going up is going to look nice. And then I'm just going to wrap that around, hot gluing it to itself to cover this. Just a fun way to add a lot of texture and the black, white, and burlap to the vase itself before we add all the flowers. Now, you know, it's really kind of hard to arrange in here, like different heights and stuff like that. So I end up using a little bit of Dollar Tree sand to arrange my flowers. And these are the flowers we're going to use. I picked up a couple bundles of these black roses that have eyeballs in some of them. They also have like spiders and like little creepy plants coming out of them. So I filled mine up about halfway with some Dollar Tree sand just to make it easier to arrange this. And I want to use a couple of these bunches, so I want different heights. So on the first one, I'm just going to go ahead and cut those down to size, and those are going to be kind of my lower row of my flower arrangement. And half of them have, I think, eyeballs. You'll notice that I end up switching out another flower arrangement to give this one extra eyeballs at the end. But I really like the little spider picks and the little creepy like tree. I think that looks fun too. Once I got that all arranged, the bottom, I want it to be nice and tall, so I'm going to use one without taking it apart. So easy peasy, all you got to do is remove the tag and put that inside. It's kind of tall, so it's kind of right up next to the camera. Those eyeballs are a little creepy. And just arrange it until you are happy with it. Super cute so far. I was trying to think of a fun way to display it, and I'll show you what I ended up doing. But for now, this is how this flower arrangement turned out. You can see I did add extra eyeballs. Just because I needed the just plain black roses for the next DIY. I thought it would be cute to arrange it like on a tray with maybe another plant. And so I am actually going to use a tray that I got at Target Dollar Spot. And this is the one I got there last year. It's for $5. I ended up not using it last year. It has the spider webs. But this year Dollar Tree Plus has something really similar. And I think the Dollar Spot has something similar again this year too. So I'm going to sit our little eyeball flower arrangement on there. And then I found this at the Dollar Tree Plus for $3, a creepy plant that's got teeth. So I thought that would go perfect with the eyeball plants. And my son loves these like weird carnivorous plants and stuff like that. He has some really cool ones. So I think this will go good with it. Now, it has a black and white pumpkin already. It's got polka dots and stripes, so that part's perfect. The only part I didn't like was the red flower. Even though it's a cool flower, it doesn't really go with my black and white and burlap theme. So I am actually just going to DIY this. So I just removed the red flower. I can use that for something else. And kind of the colorful leaves that were with it. But I do want the little teeth to use in my final design. Just removing all of the staples and everything that were in there. The bottom part of the pumpkin is perfect, so I thought we could use another one of these little black eyeball rose arrangements to kind of place together to make a giant black flower, so it's going to kind of coordinate with our color scheme. So I just take one of the black flowers and just put it on the existing thing, and that's the only one I really have to attach to, so the rest I'm going to kind of have to attach with hot glue, but it ended up being pretty easy. So I'm just going to kind of build these roses on top of each other until I can get a big flower like that was on there before. And I can also use like the little black leaves to kind of add to that too, to kind of give it more volume. But I don't want to use the ones with eyeballs. So that's how I ended up switching out some of the black eyeball flowers on that one with some, I wanted more of the plain ones to build this out. And I just kind of attached them to each other with their leaves. And it ended up actually being pretty easy. So here's another black eyeball I'm going to add to that one. Take another black rose and add it to this one. I know the bottom leaves have a little bit of color too, but I think that's okay. It's not real crazy. And this was a really fun find at Dollar Tree Plus. We finally have a Dollar Tree Plus in my town, but they skipped right to Christmas. But I was able to find this a couple towns over at a Dollar Tree Plus that had a ton of Halloween stuff. So to reattach the little the little teeth, I just use hot glue and kind of put it in the middle of the giant black flower that we created. Then I also have some of these little black tree pieces, so I thought that would be a fun touch to add too. I just add a little hot glue to those and add those to the flowers on the bottom just to make them look a little creepier. And I think this is going to be the perfect thing to display on that little black Halloween tray from Target Dollar Spot with the little black eye roses. So it pretty much has the same effect as it had before, but no red. I did have a few black leaves left over, so I thought I might as well take advantage of those. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of glue those on the back too, just to kind of round that out a little bit. I think that looks pretty cool. I think it's ready to go on the tray with our first one. And then I thought we could fill it up with some moss and some creepy items just to kind of finish that creepy Halloween vibe. Now, I got these little furry spiders at Walmart for $1.98, but you could always use ones from the Dollar Tree. I was just trying to avoid glitter ones for this one. And I thought two of these would look really fun, kind of like just in the two areas that are kind of open here. But then I thought it would look even creepier if I used like some reindeer moss from Dollar Tree to kind of fill that out, kind of make it look like a mossy ground with the spiders crawling through it. So I have some left over from another DIY. I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle some in there, filling up the bottom of the tray, and then just laying the little black fuzzy Walmart spider right on top. And I'm going to do the same thing here on the other side. And this little tray was so easy to put together, and it's so fun. I'm going to have to send a picture of this to my son. He is going to love it. It's right up his alley, little carnivorous, creepy Halloween plants. And how cute is that little pumpkin from the Dollar Tree Plus? Super fun, and I finally got a reason to use that little tray I got at the Target Dollar Spot. Now the next DIY turned out really cool, but it was so easy to do. I found this little dish at Dollar Tree the other day, and I thought I can make a really fun little tray to go in my entryway, to hold keys and stuff like that for when you come in the door. I always like to do something kind of seasonal for that. This one was black with like a you know, shiny silver on the top of the legs, and I just wanted kind of a matte black finish on this, so I'm just using black acrylic and just going over the top of all the legs and the little spider body just to make those parts look black. And we are going to do the black, white, and burlap theme even on this, so I'll show you how I end up doing it. The spider part, once it's painted, looks pretty good. The little plastic bowl, though, looks like plastic. So we're going to dress that up a little bit once we get this part painted and dried. And we're just going to use some Dollar Tree burlap. So I'm just going to use the burlap roll. And we're going to make a little burlap bowl to go right inside. It's going to give it a lot more character, I think. So I just cut out a little square of burlap that's going to be a little bigger. And then we can just glue that right down inside the bowl. It's going to make it look so much more high-end. Now to do that, I just used Mod Podge. I went ahead and put a hefty amount in there and just spread that all around with a foam brush. So I could really saturate the burlap because it's going to need it to kind of form this shape of the bowl. But I want it fairly even too. So I got it all coated. Then I just pushed the burlap down inside, pushing it against the bottom and the edges. And then I kind of use like a baby wipe to kind of push that down in there. Then I'm going to coat the top of it with more Mod Podge. You really have to saturate it. And don't worry, it should dry clear. I'm going to make sure that all the different areas are attached. And you can kind of see it taking that shape of the bowl. Once I dried it with my heat gun, it looks way better, and now we can trim off all of the excess burlap. You don't have to worry about trimming this off perfect because I am going to line this with a little white detail so we can stay with our color scheme today. Now, I did notice that some of the metallic silver was still shining through on my legs, so I thought it's going to definitely require another coat of black acrylic anywhere where that was kind of shining through. So I just kind of went through and touched it up, and that definitely did the trick because I want the matte black finish. I don't want any of that metallic silver that was on there before coming through. Now for the white part of our DIY, I'm going to use just some of the macrame cord from Dollar Tree, and we are just going to kind of frame out the bowl with that. Kind of looks a little bit like a spider web too, so it kind of goes with the theme, but it's going to make this look a little bit more finished, and it adds a little bit of the black and white to this as well. And easy peasy, this DIY is complete. It was so easy to do and it really turned out so cute. So here is our little spider bowl. Great for an entryway. I'm going to use mine on my entryway table to like hold car keys and stuff like that. So here is kind of an example of how you could use yours. And I really love the burlap in there. It really made it look so much better than just the plastic bowl. And I really like the matte finish as well. I think that makes it look way nicer. And it's functional, so you have to love that, right? Hey guys, I wanted to take a quick moment out of today's video and let you know about my private Facebook group. I always have it linked in the description below. You can find out when I post new videos and you'll get to see what everyone else has been crafting. We would love to have you. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest, and my handle is Crafty Beach on YouTube. Okay, the next DIY that we could do a really simple bat wreath. So I'm going to use some of these little black felt bats from the Dollar Tree, a Dollar Tree burlap bag, and one of the little black wood bead wreaths from Dollar Tree. I thought we could do a really simple little bat wreath. I'm going to have a more complex one later on if you wanted to do a bigger one for your front door. So I'm just going to cut down a rectangular size piece out of one of those little bags because I want to have like a burlap border behind the bat. Now I wasn't sure what kind of glue to use on this. I probably should have used hot glue. I ended up using tacky glue, and the problem with that is maybe I used too much because it did come through and It was kind of obvious on the front of the black felt, but that's okay because I have lots of these, right? So I'm just actually going to layer it and make it a little bit thicker, which I kind of liked that effect more in the end anyway. This time I switched to hot glue and that worked way better. And I just hot glued our two little felt bats together. Now I wanted to have like a burlap trim, so I'm just going to use the bat itself as a guide to cut out a trim, like, I don't know, a quarter, a half an inch, around there. The only kind of tricky parts were trying to go around like the little ears and stuff like that. And then again, I didn't really want like pointy corners, so I did try to round those off if possible. And then I want to hang the little bat down inside this little black wood bead wreath that I got at the Dollar Tree. I was so excited to find this in black. I thought that would be perfect for Halloween, but I guess you could probably paint any of the other ones too. But definitely a step saved. Whenever I see black things like this at the Dollar Tree, I think Halloween. So I just take some Dollar Tree twine, and it was a little fuzzy, so I burnt the fuzzies off. I am going to tie it off here on our little wood ring. I thought while I was at it, I might as well make a hanger for it too. So I'm just going to knot like a little hoop hanger here, but leaving the long piece here where I can string the bat, suspending it in the middle of the wreath. I want it to dangle down like right in the center. So I use a bead of hot glue here on the back of the burlap for the bat and just lay it right on top of that twine. Just exactly where I want it, then I can just trim off the excess twine. Now to decorate the top of this, I thought it needed a really cute little bow, and I found the perfect ribbon at Dollar Tree. It is this white wired ribbon that has little black bats all over it. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to make a quick little bow. All you need is a zip tie. So you just kind of pinch it together to give yourself a little tail. And then you'll have to twist it if you have a pattern on this that is only on one side. Make a loop, pinch it in the middle, then make another loop. It's all still going the same way. Now I am going to go ahead and continue that. Everything is right side out. And make 2 more loops for the back of the bow. I did have to twist it a little bit to get the ribbon to be the right direction for my other tail. And then I just cinch it all together with a Dollar Tree zip tie. And pull the little tails down to the same size. I'm going to trim those up. I don't want super long tails on these. I just wanted a really cute little bat bow for the top, and it's perfect for our black, white, and burlap. So I'm just going to take some more Dollar Tree twine and tie the little bow onto our wood bead wreath here. And then the only thing I'll have to disguise is the little plastic zip tie. You could still kind of see it there at the top. And I found the perfect thing to disguise that because I needed something kind of tiny. And then I remembered that I got these little black bat cupcake toppers at cupcake picks, I guess, at Dollar Tree that have little black bats on them. So I thought that'd be perfect. I just broke off the little like toothpick there at the end. It did leave a little bit of exposed wood there, so I did have to go in with some black acrylic and touch that up real quick. But then I'm just going to glue that right on top of the zip tie, and it was the perfect little finishing touch. For this super easy little wreath, I think it's so cute. It would look great anywhere for Halloween. And this is how it turned out, and this is how it looks hanging in my entryway. I love it, and I love those little wood bead wreaths. How cute are those? It really doesn't look like something that you made with supplies from the Dollar Tree. And I really think that the burlap really goes nicely with the black and the white. Such a great contrast. Now the next DIY, I want to take some of these black taper candles that I got at Dollar Tree and give them a little makeover. I saw some really cute black and white ghost candles that I wanted to kind of try to copy on these. I was reading that you could paint candles if you use like the Posca paint pens, and that you can even burn them like that. That's what the internet says, so I guess we will see. I do have a set of Posca paint pens. Sometimes I get them on Amazon, but the other day I actually got a whole box of them at Target. They were a little pricey to get the whole box, but if you go on Amazon, you can definitely just buy whatever color you want. And you know what? They did a great job painting on the wax. I was really impressed. So I just do a simple little sketch of a ghost, and I'm going to color it all in white. And I just did little squiggly lines along the bottom, and I thought we would kind of alternate those all the way up, going different directions and stuff like that. Now I started with the eyes. I was just going to leave the eyes black like that, but it is a little time consuming to try to work around the eyes, so I ended up losing the eyes after a while because I can always go in with my black Posca paint pen and paint those on as well. Now for the second row, I kind of alternated over here. I'm only going to do like 2 rows because you're really only going to be able to see these ghosts from the front. But I want them to go all the way up our little black candle. Now I got one done, so I'm going to kind of use that as a reference, kind of copy the same rows. It can still be kind of crazy whichever direction you want your little ghost to be. But you know what? Painting a ghost shape is so easy. Once I get those all painted white and dried, then I went in with my black paint pen and just drew simple little eyes on each one. And that was definitely easier than trying to leave the little spots black. And then I found, some of those black metal candle holders from Dollar Tree that I think are going to be perfect for these. I picked up 2 different sizes, so they'll be 2 different heights, so I can kind of display them together as a little set. And I'm so glad I decided to paint these candles because I think they turned out so cute. Look at them. How sweet is that? Now for the candle holders, I still wanted to keep the black, white, and burlap theme I've got going on. So I thought I would just cover the little poles of these little candlesticks with burlap. I thought the easiest way to do that would be to use some of these little burlap bags from Dollar Tree. I craft with these things all the time. I absolutely love them. And I just cut out the front so I would have a sheet to work with. I'm just going to cut out a strip. It's not going to take much to cover these because they're nice and skinny. And then just cut that down to size, trying to get a rectangular shape so my lines are kind of straight. To attach, I just do a bead of hot glue up my candlestick and lay the burlap right on there. And this was definitely a good trick to make these look more high-end. It kind of gives you the same feel as wrapping them with twine, but look how much easier that is. I just glue it to itself after I've wrapped it all the way around to take the shape of the candlestick. And I'm just going to leave the top and the bottom of it black metal. That's perfect for Halloween. So I'm going to do the same thing here on the second one, just cutting out a little rectangular piece that I can cut down to size. The tops of these candle holders are different. I don't know why they do that, but it's fine. I think it's going to make it look just even a little bit better because it adds a little bit of variety. So I just hot glued this one on as well, wrapping that around and hot gluing it to itself. This DIY was so easy to put together, and I think these candles just turned out so cute. Now, I wanted to try to encourage them to stay in place, and especially the large one, that hole's kind of large. So I'm going to use some hot glue to get that started, and I'll have to let you know how that Posca paint pen burns on the candle, because supposedly it's supposed to be just fine. So I hot glued both in there, and this DIY is complete. Let me try to show you how those candles turned out. So cute and such a fun, easy DIY for Halloween. So we have our little black and white ghost candles and our Dollar Tree black and burlap candlesticks. I love all the different kind of candlesticks they have at Dollar Tree now. They really actually have quite a nice variety, and this is how they look together. Now, the next DIY is an older DIY that I've made previously on my channel, but I wanted to show you how I put it together because it has the same colors. And instead of burlap, I used Dollar Tree nautical jute rope. So I chose the largest wreath form from Dollar Tree, and I wanted to weave the entire wreath form with Dollar Tree rope. So it's going to take a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a lot of packages. I love it when I can find the Dollar Tree rope in the box at the Dollar Tree because you can really kind of stock up on it if you need to. I start by hot gluing it just to the back there of the structure just to get it started, and then we are just going to weave. It's really kind of fun to make these weave. They are like, you know, time consuming when you weave a wreath like this, but it turned out so nice. I love it. So I just went under the bar and then I'm going to go over the inside bar and then I'm going to pull that back through. But I was just trying to make sure it's good and attached here. I actually used a little bit of twine to tie it off just because I know I'm going to be doing a lot of pulling on it. I don't want to pull that off. So I go around the pole, and this time in the middle, instead of going under, I go over. Then I pull it under the outer one. Gonna reverse that, go under this time, and then over, through, over the middle one, and then under. You're just doing the opposite for each row. And then you're also gonna wanna keep it tight. There's all the little sections on there. So you're gonna wanna try to get as many rows in a section as you can to keep it super tight so you won't be able to see through it. You want it to be really nice and woven. And you can already see that great pattern forming. So I'm just going to kind of squish here until I can't string anymore. Then I can switch to the next section. And that's about how far one package of rope got me. I just hot glue it to the back and then hot glue my next one right next to it so I can continue that same pattern of weaving. And then we're going to speed this way up because, like I said, super time consuming. But I basically just do the same thing till I run out, hot glue it to the back, start a new one, and keep the weave going. Now my plan on this is I wanted to do like a spooky forest wreath for my front door. And I actually made this 2 years ago on my channel. And I'm still using it for my Halloween wreath because it is adorable. I don't want to replace it because I love it. I burn off all the fuzzies on my rope once I got the whole thing woven. And then for the spooky forest, I'm going to use a little black tree that I got at Target Dollar Spot. They do have these this year. I was just at Target today. This one's kind of a fuzzy material. The ones that they have this year are not fuzzy like this, but they look just the same. I'm just going to remove it from the pot that it was in. I only want the spooky tree, and it's the perfect size to fill up this wreath. I kind of want to hide the stem here on the back, but I want like all of the branches to be visible on the front. So I'm going to start here by hot gluing that to the inside, the back of the wreath. And then I'm also going to use some just excess rope that I had to try to hot glue to that just to have a little bit more to glue to, kind of making like a little handle down here to hold onto the bottom of the tree. And this has definitely held up well. Again, this is like the third year I'll be displaying this, but all these supplies are still available at the Dollar Tree and the Dollar Spot, so you should be able to recreate. Now for the branches, I'm just going to hot glue the tips to my wreath form on the sides and the top, just to kind of keep this in place and exactly where I want it to be without having to tie that to the top of the wreath at all. Especially with these upper branches are really important to secure. So I just hot glue those to the woven wreath, which I think turned out so pretty. It was time consuming, but I think it was worth it. Now, if you wanted to stay with the burlap theme, though, you could get a similar look by wrapping it with burlap ribbon from the Dollar Tree. But again, the rope is jute, so it's going to give you the same feel. Now, I want this to look nice and creepy, so we're going to use some Dollar Tree black bats. They are glitter, but we're going to kind of make it work. These are the little clips. I don't really need the clips on these. So you can always pull those off and hot glue them on where you need. I want them to kind of look like they are flying away from the spooky forest. And then I wanted to use some of those cute little Dollar Tree ghost ornaments to decorate the tree and the wreath too. So I just pulled the pins off the back of these, the little clips, and then I just used hot glue to attach the bats. I want them to look like they're flying, kind of in the same direction there, and hot glue those to the rope. And I did a total of 4 here, all on the right side. Now I also wanted to have a sign, so I'm going to use one of the little metal Halloween signs from the Dollar Tree. Honestly, any of these would be good. I decided to go with the word haunted. Kind of for the haunted forest, right? And then I thought we could hang these little ghosts all around, like in our little spooky tree, to make them look fun. Oh yeah, I switched it up and changed the word spooky. Any of them would have worked. I just go ahead and paint all of my white ghosts. I'm going to kind of do an ivory color on these, but you could totally do white if you wanted. I was using chalk paint just to try to make that stick to the galvanized metal sign a little bit better, but I wanted to stay with that black and white theme, so I wanted that to be white instead of the metal. So it did require a couple coats of chalk paint still to get good coverage on that, but I wanted all my ghosts to be cute and ivory as well. Okay, let's put this together. These ornaments come with little hangers if you need them. So I'm going to just string some of these into our little haunted forest tree. The shape on these are perfect. I love the way the bottom of these are like pointed and frilly like that. And then it's just a matter of figuring out exactly where you want your little ghost to be. Tied this one right down here. And then this one, I actually ended up using it more like it was coming away from the tree a little bit. So I ended up attaching that one to the rope wreath. Just hot gluing it to that, but I do want it to dangle down like that because I think that looks cute. And then I have enough room for spooky at the top of our little wreath up here, off to the side. And I just use hot glue to attach that as well. And I think this is one of my most reshared or most looked at pins on Pinterest. Everybody loves this wreath, so I wanted to show you it because I thought it totally went with the theme of the other DIYs that we made new today. Now for the ribbon on this, I'm going to do the same kind of bow with a zip tie. This is the black and white gingham ribbon from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to make as many loops as I can to make a nice fat bow. And then I'm going to cinch it all together with a zip tie. Right in the middle, this one's even easier because you don't have to turn it. The black and white gingham pattern is on both sides. So just like before, I pull my tails down to one side. And then I can trim them off the same length, dovetailing them if you want. I wanted a nice, fun bow to go on the bottom of this wreath. They are wire rimmed, even though they're from Dollar Tree, so you can shape it into a nice, giant bow. I'm going to attach mine right here to the bottom by taking some twine and tying that to the bottom of the wreath. And I think that was the perfect final touch for this little Dollar Tree wreath. Once I attach it, I just arrange it and then use a little bit more twine for the top to make a very simple little wreath hanger just by knotting that twine. And this is how it looks on my front door for Halloween. How cute is that? I love it. I love the simplicity of the black and white colors, and I think it looks great on my white door. Now there's a big trend right now of thrifting beach scenes and painting ghosts on them and creepy Halloween things. So I wanted to see if we could do it, but do it with supplies from the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to use a Dollar Tree beach canvas. I don't really need the hanger on the back, so I'm going to go ahead and just pop that off. I can reuse that later. And it is almost the right size to go in one of these square Dollar Tree frames. And we're going to modify that a little later, but that's going to be the back of our sign. Now for the ghost and the bat, I want to do a bat too. I'm going to use some of the Dollar Tree rub-on transfers. I think they're kind of small, but for a small canvas like this, I think they're going to be the perfect size. So they have two of the like little sheet ghosts that are so popular with this trend. And they are different sizes, but I can just have one be like a little closer than the other one, and I think that will work. I also wanted to do like a little bat like flying in the sky, and the bats on this rub-on transfers were a little bit big. I thought about like just painting them on, but I decided to just use the smallest one and just do one. So if you haven't used these rub-on transfers before, they are so easy. All you have to do is peel off the back and stick them to the canvas and scrape them on. Now, since it is a canvas, it doesn't have a back, so I thought I needed a solid surface to scrape on. So I just took a couple pieces of Dollar Tree craft wood and put behind it. I thought that would make it a little bit easier. So just peel and stick our first little ghost here on the beach. And then I'm just using the little cricket scraper from the Dollar Tree to scrape it on. Make sure it's down before you pull it up because you can always lay it back down and finish scraping it on. So I'm going to do the second ghost a little farther away. Maybe that can explain why he's a little bit smaller. And scraped him on as well. So cute. I'm going to do the same thing with a little bat flying in the sky. And if you aren't able to find a beach scene at the Dollar Tree, they do have some creepier kind of beach scenes right now. I got one there today at Dollar Tree. It's so easy to create a beach scene, and we're going to be doing that a couple times today with kind of a more abstract beach scene. But look how beautiful that looks. That painting from the Dollar Tree is textured with the waves and stuff too, which makes it look a little bit more high-end. Now, the hanger that came on the sign, not a fan of, so I'm going to replace it. I'm just going to take some Dollar Tree twine, feed it in from the back, tie knots on the front. Now, I am going to do an additional frame on this, so it will cover this up anyway, so I wanted to go ahead and get that step done now. Now, to attach the canvas to the picture frame, I'm just going to hot glue it on. I think that's going to be fine. So I just leave it on its existing board, makes the DIY even easier. And we are just going to put hot glue here on all four sides. And then just lay it in that frame. There is a little gap on each side, so I just try to center it in there the best that I can. Now for the frame. To fill in that gap and to make it look extra beachy and coastal, I'm going to use some driftwood. I really like to get my driftwood from Target. It looks like this. It's threshold vase filler. It's back like in the home decor section with like the plants and stuff like that. And if you watch it, it does go on sale. I think normally it's $10 a box, but I think I usually get it on sale for about $6 or $7 for a box. But it's great driftwood to craft with because it's nice and flat, very uniform. It's easier than real driftwood from the beach. Now, the frame is not real big, and I'm going to try to cover up, all the gap and build a frame. So I want it to be like irregular and everything like that, but I also need to kind of make it fit. So I don't want like a huge overlap. So it's kind of like just putting together a puzzle. You kind of have to, work until you find the perfect piece. And if you can't find one like small enough like that, I just use my miter scissors to cut one of them down. But otherwise, I think I was able to do the rest of it without cutting anything. Now, some of them were a little too skinny to cover the gap, but then they had these real skinny pieces that you could also go in and cover it up. And I'm so glad I did this for the frame. It makes it look so good, and it really makes it look intentional. And I really love this DIY. I might have to go to the thrift store and actually find like a large ocean painting to paint ghosts and stuff on, because I love that. I think it's so funny. So I just keep going around all four sides, just piecing together different pieces until a pattern that I think kind of looks good. Again, it's supposed to look kind of crazy because it's driftwood, of course. And the only thing I don't like about this driftwood is that it is a little bit light in color. And sometimes that works for me, but sometimes I want it to look a little bit more realistic. So I'm going to show you how I change the color of mine, but I wanted to go ahead and get everything built first. I just kind of add a few more pieces just to kind of level out some areas and fill up anything that needs a gap. And then just use my heat gun to try to clean up any excess hot glue. And it's looking super cute already, right? Now, I don't want to stain it too dark. I just want to stain it like a little bit. And so to do that, I am going to mix together some Antique Wax by Waverly and water. So mostly water. And then I'm just using my little chunky brush from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to do a light stain. And since this is so watered down, you really don't have to worry about getting it on the painting. You can just wipe it right off. It's not going to discolor it or mess anything up. But I just wanted a very soft stain. So after that, I just kind of dry it off with a paper towel. And we have our little ghost and bat at the beach in a driftwood frame. Everything was from Dollar Tree, and I think it turned out so cute. What do you guys think about this? This is how it turned out. The little bat is super cute. He has a little face too, flying in the sky above the ocean. And then we have our two little ghosts. And I like that you can kind of see through them a little bit like a real ghost because you can kind of see the ocean behind them. I love how this turned out. It's probably my favorite Halloween DIY I've made this year. Now for the next DIY, let's do something fun. Let's take one of these little plastic skulls from the Dollar Tree, and my plan is to make a really cool little pirate skull. So the first thing I want to do is a pirate needs a patch over his eye, right? I'm going to take one of these little Dollar Tree black leather purses. It's a great source of material. It's like a suede on one side and like a faux leather on the other side. And I'm just going to cut down a simple little patch, just the right size for our skeleton eye. Now the purse also has purse straps, so I'm going to take advantage of that to do a strap to go around the pirate skull head, and it's a little thick. So to solve that, I'm just going to cut it right in half to make a thinner leather strap. And it's the perfect size. So I'm going to just attach it by hot gluing it right inside the eye socket of our little plastic skull. Normally I would paint these, but I kind of have a plan to disguise the skull a little bit. And so I think I'm just going to leave it this original color like that. I think it'll be fine. And then I just glue it suede side down, leather side up, for a perfect little eye patch for our little pirate. And I think that worked really well. That's definitely going to stay in place. And then I wanted to add a few more touches to him to make him look like a pirate. So I thought it would be cool if it looked like he had some gold teeth. So I just take some gold metallic acrylic paint. I picked this up at the Target dollar spot. And a small brush, and let's just paint some random teeth here. Gold. One thing with the metallic, you do have to do a couple of coats to really get like that glossy sheen like a gold tooth would have. But I thought that would be a fun little pirate touch. Now I don't have a pirate hat or anything, and so I'm gonna do like a little pirate like handkerchief, scarf on his head instead. And I think that will kind of give him that pirate vibe. I'm also going to attach it to a little candle holder like that to make a big display. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, just by hot gluing the skull on just at the bottom part of the mouth, gluing it flat on the base of a black candlestick from Dollar Tree. So that was already black. I don't have to do anything to that. That's perfect. Then I want to kind of decorate it to make it look like a pirate like at the bottom of the sea. So I thought maybe some sea creatures would be good. These are the little grow animals from the toy aisle at Dollar Tree. I picked up a crab and a sea turtle. I also picked up gold coins like this at the Dollar Tree. These were actually with the party favors, but I think sometimes they have them for Halloween as well. So I wanted it to look like the pirate's skull was with his treasure. So I'm just going to start hot gluing some of those little gold coins straight to the candlestick, kind of making them in a pile, like a pile of treasure. Now they are really shiny. I kind of wish that I would have painted them the same gold that the teeth were made out of, but that's okay. I think that'll work. Now I'm going to use a little starfish. I get these on Amazon, and then the little crab and the sea turtle as well. I thought they were a little bright, so I thought I would make them look a little creepier by distressing them all over with some antique wax by Waverly to kind of aging them a bit. And the sea turtle is already dark. I kind of wish I might have painted the sea turtle because I find that he does kind of blend in a little bit with the black candlestick. But I'm going to kind of have those like, you know, around too. You could also attach them to the skull yourself if you wanted to. But I kind of left the skull just with pirate decor. So now it's time to do the little pirate headscarf. I got this bandana at Dollar Tree, and it's a perfect like mint green, like blue color. I think that's going to look really good. I thought it was a little big for our little pirate skull, but I think we can make it work. So I just folded it into a triangle, and then I hot glue it right there to the top of his forehead. Pull it around back and tie a knot to do like a headscarf here. And I tied it twice to knot it, and then I hot glue it on both sides to kind of keep it down on the sides of the skull too. And I do have like a lot of excess fabric here at the bottom. You could trim it off, but I decided just to fold it up underneath the cap like that. And it worked perfectly. So that's a fun option if you wanted to do a pirate skull and you don't have a pirate hat. You can always just give him the little scarf on top. And I think that looks really cool. Now it's just a matter of attaching the little sea creatures to this display. And I add a little bit more treasure too. So I'm going to attach the starfish over here, the sea turtle over here. I kind of glued it just to a coin. And the little crab. You can use like any kind of shells or sea creatures. It's going to give you that kind of ocean vibe. And then I thought treasure, we should have some pearls too. Dollar Tree has these little pearls that are beads that you like can string, but they work great for treasure too. So I'm just going to hot glue a couple pearls here on the lip of the candle holder and some more treasure up there as well. So it looks like piles of treasure all around the little pirate skull. And gluing on more coins and pearls to kind of fill it out. I kind of want it to look random, but definitely some pirate bling. So that's what we have so far. Now you could leave it like that, but I had a plan to try to make it look even creepier, and I think it turned out really cool. So to do that, I used some of the creepy cloth from Dollar Tree. They have it in black. And we are just going to string that over him, kind of giving the appearance of like an old fishing net or something like that, wrapping him like it's like kind of like a cloak, right? So I just put it over the top of him and cut out the excess fabric. And then I take it and gather it together in the back, tying it into a knot a couple of times there to gather it there on the bottom. Cut off the excess material. And then I went ahead and just kind of glued it together here at the base of the back so it'll stay in place. And then kind of pull it around the bottom so it's all kind of like sandwiched in this netting, which I love crafting with this netting. I think it's so cool. And look how creepy our little pirate looks. He's got all that treasure in there. He's got sea creatures in there. He's got a nice beachy blue headscarf. And this is how he turned out. I'm so glad I decided to give him some gold teeth too. I think that's really fun. If you wanted it to look a little bit more high-end, you could always paint the skull too, instead of leaving it that like tan color. And I do that on a lot of DIYs today. But I think he looks pretty cool. What do you guys think about our little pirate skull? Okay, the next DIY, we are going to take this vase from the Dollar Tree. These are plastic. They have them, I think, in white and black. And I picked up a white one. I thought we could turn it upside down and make an ocean creature version of a ghost. Now, the bottom of it is flat, so I thought if I took one of these little foam balls from the Dollar Tree and cut it in half, I could give it more of a dome shape on the top for the creature that I want to make. So that's what I did. I hot glued that on. Now, the only thing was, I don't know if it's because the ball was small, I thought it was a little bit pointier than I needed, so I actually redid that. But in the end, I think it turned out probably exactly the same. So you could use the styrofoam ball. Now, this is the like ivory version of the creepy cloth from Dollar Tree again. And it's kind of a long piece. It's a little hard to try to find where it starts and stops. But what I wanted to do was make a ghost octopus out of this. So to do that, I'm going to use all of the creepy cloth, like making it go over it several times. That's when I was like, you know what? I don't really like the little foam ball right on top. I wanted to see if I could do something a little bit better. You could always just have it a little bit flatter on top. That would work too if you don't have anything. I had some white model magic from the Dollar Tree though, so I decided to kind of make a little dome piece on there to kind of fill it out just by putting that right on the top, taking off the excess model magic until I kind of have a dome shape on the top of the head. And this works. This is what I end up using, but again, I think it probably looks pretty similar to the foam ball. I just shape it to kind of make it go with the vase because you want to use the white vase underneath because you can definitely see through it. If you have the black one, you'd probably have to paint it white. But I noticed my white model magic was not the same color white as the vase, so I did go ahead and paint it white too so that you can't see like the difference in color there. And I did paint that model magic while it was still kind of, you know, soft like that. And it will still harden up over time. Now let's make our little ghost octopus. I go ahead and string one layer over the top. Then I like find the other end and fold it in half and drape that over. So we've got like, you know, 3 layers and it makes this nice like ghost material like this. I make sure that the vase is kind of in the center. I'm not going to make a base or anything. I'm just going to have the vase be upside down. And then I take some twine and tie off like the head of our ghost like that with some Dollar Tree twine. Now I take it and I pull out like the tentacles of our octopus. I guess it kind of looks like a squid too. But I wanted to make sure that I had like 8 tentacles there for an octopus. Then I realized that my twine was really not tight, wasn't really cinched up where it needed to be. So I'm going to go ahead and tie that up a little bit tighter here. And then we can decorate our little ghost octopus. This turned out so cute and it's nice and large. You could always hang it up too, but I think it would look more like a traditional ghost if you hung it up. But if you sit it on a shelf or a counter, you can make the tentacles go out in all directions. Now our little ghost needs a face. I'm just going to do some eyes. So I'm going to use some black felt from Dollar Tree. And I just used a little chalk marker so I could draw on the black. And I just sketch out 2 ovals because cutting ovals and circles is not quite that easy. I need me a little guidance. And then I just cut inside the little chalk lines there to cut 2 ovals for little ghost eyes. I'm not going to give it a mouth or anything like that. I think 2 eyes is going to be plenty. And then I'm just going to attach it to the little octopus face, like right there. And I'm just going to hot glue those in place. I'm going to leave like the twine wrapped around the neck of it to keep that all in place. And I think that goes nice with the design as well. And then I just kind of pull out all the tentacles, and let me show you how I style this little guy. He's so fun. So I make sure I have like 8 strands coming down here, and I want to do like 4 on each side. I kind of overlap like the ones that are kind of on top of the other ones and kind of alternate that pattern around. And that's how he turned out. I'm just going to display him sitting like that. Again, you could always hang it. I wanted to show you how it looked on my table in my entryway. I think it's so cute. You're definitely getting that ghost vibe, but you're also getting a little bit of octopus in there as well, which I think is really fun, and it's going to go great with my coastal decor. So here he is, our little ghost octopus. I can't wait for my son to see this. He's going to love it. Hey guys, I wanted to take a quick moment out of today's video and let you know about my private Facebook group. It's always linked in the description below. You'll find out when I post new videos, and you'll get to see what everyone else has been crafting. So creative. I also have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest, and my handle is Crafty Beach on YouTube. Okay, we're going to need one of the little plastic skulls from Dollar Tree, some of the little plastic bones, a little ship wheel from the Dollar Tree, and one of these little frames. I like these frames because they make a perfect base. You just have to kind of take off the little round frame that was on top of it. I just want the base. There are some nails kind of sticking out of it, so you better be careful with that if you take it apart like I do. Now again, I'm going to use watered down Antique Wax by Waverly to stain my little ship wheel because I want a very light like driftwood stain on this. I'm also going to do the same very light stain wash here on the base of our stand. And then I just dry it like that, and it kind of took that stain, and that's basically all there is with that. So that is so easy to do. Now to decorate it, I'm going to use these little bones. You're going to need 8 of the long ones, 1 for each one of the handles of the ship wheel, and you're going to need 1 of these skulls. They come in like a little bag at the Dollar Tree of a whole bunch of them. Now, the only thing I don't like about Dollar Tree bones and Dollar Tree skulls is the color. I think they always look a little bit better if you paint them like an ivory color. This is the Antique Parchment by Apple Barrel. I get this at Walmart. I also have been getting the Apple Barrel paint at Amazon, so I have added them to my Amazon shop below. I've been able to get some of my favorite colors, like we're going to use today, like Cloudless and Antique Parchment for like 58 cents on Amazon with like free Prime shipping. So that is a great deal, and it saves me a trip to Walmart. So I kind of distress like the little eye sockets and the black parts of it as well. But then I wanted them to kind of look more brownish. So I just went back in there with like a bronze Sharpie and kind of changed the color on mine a little bit. But I just want to give it a nice ivory feel and kind of distress the little areas that we just bronzed as well. Now with the bones, I just kind of laid mine out, not realizing that they kind of have like a little joint on them that goes a specific direction. So you might want to take that into account because I'm only going to paint one side of these just to make it a little bit easier. But you're going to want to either have them all go the same way, or I ended up with 4 of each and it turned out perfectly, but I didn't really pay attention to that at the beginning. So I'm just using a small brush and going all over the bones with this Antique Parchment color. And I'm not going to paint the back just to save time. And then I just went back in with a second coat, but only if it needed it here and there, just to kind of cover up that plastic material that was underneath. And it just makes them look more high-end. You can see how different they look than the ones over there on the left that are still in the package. Now, once I have everything painted ivory, we can start putting this project together. First, we're going to do the little ship wheel here. This is how it looks with that very light stain on it. The skull is for the middle of the ship wheel. And then we're going to do a bone on each one of the handles. That's when I realized that some are left and some are right. I ended up with like half and half, and I tried to do like a pattern with mine like that. But upon looking at it, I think I may have messed up my pattern because I was trying to alternate, and I think I almost did that. I did that some of the way around, but I guess it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to hot glue one of the little bones to each one of these. Now the joints at the end go a little bit lower, so you could just glue those down. But if you do want to glue the bone down, which I did, you kind of have to push that plastic bone down in the middle so it can get contact with the ship wheel underneath. And I just do that on each side, going all the way down the handle so they only go to like the very beginning of the spokes there in the middle. And this DIY was so easy to put together and it turned out so cute. It's very kind of classy, so I think it would really go with any kind of decor. I think it's going to go great with my coastal decor in my home. And I just burn off any excess hot glue, strings that we might have there. And then the little skull goes right here in this center section. Now this wagon wheel is Shore Living, but most of my stores still have it because they don't normally sell out of this one, at least at my stores. Now it is going to be a standing sign, and I realized I did get a little bit of stain on the back. So to make it look a little bit more presentable, I just went ahead and did that very light stain on the back as well, just to clean that up. And then I just hot glued the little base here to the ship wheel, trying to push the little nails like into the ship wheel to keep it sturdy. And I think mine was a little bit crooked, so I did try to straighten it out a little bit there. But I think this turned out so fun. I call this one Dead Men Tell No Tales. I think it looks nice and creepy, and I love a good pirate decor for Halloween. Definitely goes with like the coastal Halloween vibe, and this is how it turned out. I think that the skull and stuff like that just looks way creepier, and that like ivory color, it looks a little bit more realistic too. But I think that's really fun. What do you guys think about our little ship wheel made out of bones? Okay, the next DIY is going to be very simple, very fun for like a coastal Halloween. I picked up a wood sign from the Dollar Tree and one of these little Jack O Lantern wood signs. He looks super happy. I love the kind of cartoonish face on him. And I thought we could make this into a standing Jack O Lantern sign for Halloween. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill the hole there with some spackle, but I'm probably going to cover that anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then I'm just going to use a variety of blue colors. This is the Cloudless by Apple Barrel that I was talking about before. I love this color. It's my absolute favorite for coastal decorating. This is Caribbean by Apple Barrel as well. As you can see, it's a lot bluer. And I'm just using the same brush. This one is Caribbean Blue by, this is the Target brand. And I do that one as well. It's very similar to the Cloudless. It's a little bit darker. And as you can see, I'm just alternating colors. I wanted the darker Caribbean color, this color, to kind of be the horizon of the ocean, the Cloudless to be the sky, and the Caribbean blue at the bottom to kind of be like the sea. So that's all we're going to do. It's just a very abstract ocean scene, and then we can start working on the base. I love these little wood slide signs from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use this one to make a base for the jack-o'-lantern. And I still have that very diluted Antique Wax by Waverly that I can make a stain. I kind of want it to look like driftwood. So I stain this. I think it might be a little bit sealed because it didn't really want to take the stain quite that easily. But I think I did change the color a little bit. I did do 2 coats of it, trying to like tint it, kind of give it that driftwood feel, just wiping off the excess with a paper towel. Now to put this little project together, I wanted the back of the jack-o'-lantern to be covered in burlap. That way the eyes, the nose, and the mouth have burlap behind them. And if you can't find a roll of burlap at the Dollar Tree, sometimes you can find burlap in these little bags from the Dollar Tree. So this is the perfect size, so I'm just going to use that by cutting off the back of this Dollar Tree burlap bag. And then that's going to be the perfect size to cover the back of our little jack-o'-lantern. I wanted burlap because it's going to look nice and coastal, but you can also see through it too. So I thought that'd be really fun. I guess you could probably even do a candle behind this if you wanted it to light up a little bit through the face. I just cut it into a circular shape there to cover the back of it. And then I was like, this is going to be a standing sign too. So I might as well make the back of it look nice too. So I just used one color. I just used the Cloudless and a makeup sponge to do a very thin coat of blue all along the back, just to make it look a little bit nicer and more finished. I love using the makeup sponge because it gives you a very thin layer, and it works great on these thin signs like this from the Dollar Tree. And then we can just attach the burlap to the back. I'm just going to hot glue it as close as I can to all the openings to keep it nice and tight. So like I go around the eyes and then the sides of the face like that, around the nose, and then glue it all around the little jack-o'-lantern mouth. Easy peasy, and we have that burlap background. I think it makes it look so much better, and I love the abstract ocean. It's so simple to do, and you really cannot mess that up. Now I just need to find a way to attach it to the stand, and then I also thought I should do something a little bit different with the pumpkin stem. So I just take some Dollar Tree twine, hot glue that to the back, and just simply wrap that around. I think that the twine is going to look really good. It's going to complement the burlap really well, and it's going to make the pumpkin stem look a little bit nicer. I'm not going to do like any leaves or tendrils or anything like that. I wanted this project to be really kind of simple. And you could always decorate this a little bit more, and I'll show you that here in a second. I'm going to go ahead and burn off the fuzzies on my twine here, and then we can attach it to the sign. I didn't want to do any kind of major construction on that sign, so I thought if I use some of these wood beads from the Dollar Tree, these are the little cube ones, I could use those to glue that to it. It's such a lightweight sign, it doesn't need much to stand up. And then I hot glue the sign to the beads attached to that sign. And it actually worked out really well because, again, the sign is very lightweight. I do add excess hot glue here on the back to make sure it's nice and strong. And here it is, our little Ocean Jack O Lantern. You could always add seashells and stuff like that to the base of it if you wanted a little bit more coastal decor. You could even do sand down there. But I really wanted this project to be nice and simple, a nice pop of blue ocean colors with the jack-o'-lantern, but very cute and coastal Halloween as well. Isn't that such a happy little jack-o'-lantern? It really makes me smile. Okay, next DIY, we're going to use one of these Halloween signs. This one says Eek, has a bat on it, and I'm going to show you how you can take a Halloween sign from the Dollar Tree and add your own spin on it. So again, we're going to use Cloudless by Apple Barrel, and we're going to do the entire back of the sign in that blue color. Don't be afraid to use whatever colors that matches your decor or that you like for your Halloween decor. You definitely don't have to do orange, and I don't think I really did any orange today, and we did all Halloween DIYs. Now I love a blue sign with white writing on it. I love that for a coastal farmhouse feel, and I have a lot of signs like that in my home. I think it looks really beachy, so I thought we could do the same thing with a Halloween sign. Now it was kind of hard to get in between all of the creases all around the letters and the bat, so that's why I used a brush, and then even when you dry it, you'll see a few little areas that you can still see the raw wood through. So I'm just going in, my brush is almost dry, but just trying to get any of those areas blue. Now for the Eek letters, I'm using a makeup sponge and some antique parchment, acrylic paint, and I'm just sponging that on. It's okay if I get a little bit here and there on the back sign because we're going to distress this with that color anyway to give it that coastal farmhouse vibe. I thought one coat was definitely not enough, so I'm going to go over it here with a second coat to really make those white letters pop against that blue background. Now the bat, of course, I wanted it to be black, and I really don't want the black on my sign, so I used a smaller brush and some black acrylic paint, and I'm carefully trying to paint the bat on. I did really good on the first half. The second half, I got a little too confident, and I did get a little black on my sign, but as long as you're fast, you can wipe off a lot of that with a baby wipe, It did kind of take off some of my blue paint too, though, so I do have to touch that up real quick just to make that look a little bit better with that cloudless color. And I really love the blue, white, and black. I've done that a lot with my Halloween decor. I think it looks coastal, but fun for Halloween. And then I told you I was going to distress it with the ivory, and that's what I do. I just work in one direction. I distress everything, all the blue, even the black on the bat. And then I follow that up with a baby wipe, blending it, wiping off any excess distress that I don't want. Also kind of wiping off any of the areas that I got some ivory on there before to kind of make that look more consistent. And you can just kind of work with it until you're happy with it. If you find that you distress too much and you can't wipe it off, you can always go back in with your original color, but it gives you a nice rustic feel. Now I take some Dollar Tree twine and we're just going to make a new hanger for this guy. And then burn off the fuzzies, and then I wanted to frame it out. Dollar Tree signs can be kind of thin, so I find that if you frame them out with like rope and stuff, it makes it look a little bit more substantial and makes it look a little bit better. So this is the 6-foot white nautical rope from Dollar Tree, and we're just going to start here at the top, right there where the hanger is, and glue the rope all the way around, slightly overlapping the edges to frame this out. And that's going to give it another coastal touch for Coastal Halloween. And I think it goes nicely with the ink letters. It's like a perfect match with that color of ivory. Now, I don't really like the unwound rope here at the top, and this is a really thick rope, so I thought it looked a little shaggy at the top, but once I got that glued down, I decided to go ahead and do a bow at the top anyway, and so that'll cover that part up. I love this ribbon from the Dollar Tree. This is a white ribbon with the black bats all over it. I think it's perfect for that. I'm just going to cut down a little piece of ribbon here and cut a little rectangular piece. We're going to do a very simple bow, an X bow. So we're going to need 2 pieces. I'm not going to add anything else to it. I don't think it needs very much. I just think it needs something at the top. So a very simple X bow like that. Now these are like wired ribbon, and so they do hold their shape pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and dovetail the ends just by folding them and cutting out a triangular shape there. And then kind of folding them so that they will sit properly, like cinching them in the middle and putting them together in the shape of an X. I'm going to bring all of that together with just a piece of twine, tying that around the front, kind of shaping that out, making sure all the fabric is going the right direction, tying that on the back, and then I just go around and tie that twine to our hanger to kind of initially tie this in place. And then I do want it to stay in place and cover up the top part of the rope where it's a little frayed there. So I do glue it down a little bit to make sure that covers that up. Now, I always like to do something fun too, like in the center to cover up the twine or the zip tie or whatever I use to make a bow. And so for this, I thought it just made sense that I would have to use a bat. So I'm going to use one of these cute little glitter bats from Dollar Tree. They actually come on a little clip, so I thought I would take advantage of that. I don't really appreciate the glitter, but it's the only thing that has glitter on it, so I think we can make it work. I just clip it from the bottom right in the middle of our expo, and we have a little flying bat here at the top of our little eek sign. A lot of these Halloween signs this year are a lot bigger than they normally are from the Dollar Tree, and you can make a really cute DIY like this with them. And since they're just all raw wood, you can always do your own color scheme like this and make something really cute. But this is a way you can do a coastal version of your Halloween sign with the blue and the white colors, and it looks nice and beachy. And this is how it turned out, our little blue, white, and black eek sign. I love it. I think it's so cute. Sometimes I don't like the fact that the like wood parts are already glued onto the sign because it makes them a little bit harder to paint, but with a little bit of patience, you can definitely do it. And it does make the project cheaper because it's only $1.25. You're getting the wood round, you're getting the letters, you're getting the bat, all of that for $1.25, so it's a great deal. Okay, let's have some fun with one of these Dollar Tree mermaid skeletons. I love these guys. I'm going to use that combined with a Dollar Tree long sign and a Dollar Tree broom. And we are going to do a little Witch DIY. So we're going to make a Mermaid Witch DIY. And I think that sounds really fun. Now, remember we saved a little hanger on our canvas. It works great if you need to change your sign up like this. We're going to make ours a vertical sign here. So I just hammer that into the frame. It's nice and thick on these long signs. I love these long signs from the Dollar Tree. Then I gathered all different colors of blue, cloudless, Caribbean blue, lake I didn't end up using, and Caribbean from Apple Barrel. And we are going to make a really cute abstract beach scene. Kind of like what we did on the jack-o'-lantern, but a little bit more colors and a little bit more design. So I start with the cloudless on the top to do the sky. And then I switch it up to like the Caribbean blue to do like a little bit darker. And blending that in. I'm going to do some smaller brushes on this one to try to avoid getting it all over the frame because I didn't tape it off or anything like that. I switched up to Caribbean, and when you're doing an abstract beach scene, you just want different shades of blue. Like when you're looking out at the ocean, you see all different shades of blue. They all kind of melt together. So I'm just kind of working vertically like that until I have a pretty good design, and then I just use another brush to kind of blend them, kind of going in more of a horizontal pattern. This is about as good a coverage I can get with one coat of acrylic, so you can still see some of the brown wood showing through. So it's definitely going to take another coat to kind of give us that ocean feel. I'm leaving the bottom part there open so that I can do like the sandy beach there. So I'm going to go in with another coat of colors, and I'm intentionally using too much acrylic paint so that I can get like a little texture for like waves. So I'm kind of doing like swishes so that I have a little bit of excess paint kind of on purpose to kind of give me that rippled wave effect that we had like on the canvas. I don't know if I did as good a job as they did, but I gave it my best shot. So just alternating all those colors, blending it until I think it looks good. And this is going to be a nice ocean background for our little Witch. I know the little mermaid skeletons from Dollar Tree can be hard to find, and so I did want to tell you another way to get them. I saw them at the Spirit Halloween store the other day, and I picked one up there. Theirs were only about maybe $4 instead of $1.25, but they are better. They're jointed, so you can sit them up and do all kinds of cool things with them, and I did pick one up the other day when I took my son to Spirit Halloween. That's what he wanted to do when I visited him at college. Now for the bottom, I just used cashew color for the sand, and then I'm just using ivory to do a very thin layer of seafoam where the ocean meets the beach. And there it is, our very abstract ocean scene. Now that we got that painted, we can set that aside to dry, and we can start working on this little lady. So she has a hanger at the top, so I just want to try to trim that off. And again, I don't really like the color of the plastic they use, so we're going to give it a little makeover with some antique parchment by Apple Barrel, and I just kind of going to do the front part of her. So the front part of her arms, the ribs, you do kind of have to go inside. Anywhere that you're going to be able to see it from the front or the sides, you kind of need to paint, and the fishtail. I love these little mermaid skeletons from the Dollar Tree. Whenever I see them, I try to pick up 3 or 4 because there's so many fun things you can do with them. In my video a couple of weeks ago, I did a really cool version of this where she was like laying dead on the seafloor covered with like coral and seaweed and stuff like that, and she looked so creepy. Today, I thought we would do a more fun, whimsical beach Halloween theme by making her into a Witch. So her head does move. That's about the only thing that does move on the skeleton, and I don't really want it to. So I'm going to use hot glue to try to keep that in place so that I can decorate her more. I'm going to leave her like eyes and stuff, that brown color they already are. I'm not going to give her a lot of detail with that. And I'm only doing one coat of the ivory. And then I do a very light dry brush of antique wax just to give her a little bit of an aged feel just over some of the parts of the skeleton. Now, every mermaid needs hair. We can't have a bald skeleton of a mermaid, right? So I have a little bit of raffia left over from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to make her some hair. I just take a piece and fold it over the top of her head, hot gluing that on. I'm not going to give her very much hair, and I don't have very much raffia, so basically I'm going to use about all of it. I just keep gluing that in like a U shape there on the top of her head, having it come down the side. She's not going to have very pretty hair. She's going to have wild kind of witch hair here. And that is about all I have. So it's going to be kind of stringy, but that's kind of how I want her to look anyway. So I think it's going to work. Now, I did want her to look like a witch, and I did not have a witch hat this small or anything that I could find from the Dollar Tree. So let's make one. I cut down just a little piece here of black felt, but it was not big enough. So I'm trying again with a slightly larger piece, hot gluing that into a cone shape like that. And I think that's going to be just the right size for this girl. You do have to kind of cut it off to make it more rounded there at the bottom and even. And that is the top part of our little witch hat for our mermaid. And then I'm going to use that as a guide to cut a little circle around it for the brim of the hat. And I do that just by cutting a circle. A little bit easier to cut it in corners like that. Try to get a round shape. And I think that looks good. So I'm going to do a circle of hot glue and lay the top part of the hat on there like that. And then she's going to be on the sign, so she can't really have the back of the witch's hat. It's going to kind of get in the way. So I trimmed that off. And my camera died there, but I did cut a hole in the circle too, so that it would fit over the top of her head. So I just attach that with hot glue, gluing that on the top of her head so it doesn't fall off or anything. And I think it fits her pretty nicely. It's kind of big, but that's okay. I also glue it here on the back of her head, and I think that looks good. I'm not going to give her like an outfit or anything like that because I definitely want you to be able to see that she's a mermaid skeleton. And I'm going to lay her right on this long sign like this from the Dollar Tree. And it's going to be like a vertical sign. I'm just going to go ahead and start gluing her on. First, I glue her hips on. Her tail kind of overlaps the frame a little bit, so I glue that to that. And then I'm going to glue her hat to the top frame. And glue her little head down as well. Just enough to keep her attached. She's not very heavy. And then I thought one of these little brooms from the Dollar Tree would be perfect. He's kind of like in a little 3-pack. I just cut off the little ribbon that was on there. And look how this little broom is just the perfect size for this little merwitch. So fun. And I have perfect space for it right here. I'm just going to lean it up against her shoulder. Hot gluing that to her shoulder and to the sand area. Then the beach, I thought seashells would be perfect. So I'm going to use some of these little bottled seashells from the Dollar Tree, just a couple of them, and glue those in the sand for a little beachy decor. Then I still have that little area of the sky there. I thought it'd be fun to have a bat flying in the sky above the ocean. And I have some of these little felt stickers from the Dollar Tree, and they were super simple to peel apart because I didn't really want the orange part. And I did that and just hot glue that little bat flying in the sky. And the black felt of the bat goes with the black felt of the witch hat, so it goes nicely together. I think she's about ready. I wanted to give her a few more spooky coastal touches. So I'm going to give her a quick little hairstyle. This is what she looks like so far. And then I thought the broom was a little bit too brown, and so I did distress it slightly with that same color I used with the sand, that cashew color, to kind of make it kind of match the colors of the project a little bit better. Totally not necessary though. And then I'm going to go in and decorate this a little bit more. This garland they have in several different colors in the Halloween aisle at Dollar Tree right now. I think it looks spooky. It also kind of looks a little bit like coral, right? or like seaweed or something like that. So I just cut one strand off and I'm just going to hot glue that along the frame. It's going to bring in a little bit more black to our project. It definitely goes with the coastal vibe and it's super creepy for Halloween. This side I thought I would do it a little bit shorter. I don't have as much room to decorate over here. And again, I just kind of hot glue that in a few points all along the frame to keep it in place. And she's very whimsical, she's very cute, but this is how she turned out. Our little Witch skeleton, I think she's so much fun. A little mermaid that's a witch, you can't beat that, right? And this is how she turned out. The paint job does make her look nice and creepy, which is a plus for Halloween. And I love like the addition of like the coral and the little broom. It totally goes with the little witch theme. I think she turned out really fun. What do you guys think about this little lady? I think she's super fun for Halloween. The first sign that I found at the Dollar Tree I thought was perfect. It's got the white ghost, the orange jack o' lantern, a little directional arrow sign. So I thought we could use one of these little just galvanized metal buckets from the Dollar Tree and we can make it into a directional arrow sign. So the bucket's kind of plain, but I found these rub-on transfers at the Dollar Tree that are perfect for vintage Halloween. They've got like the black and orange cat, the owl. And so I'm just going to cut out some of the larger things here and just decorate the front of this. And we're going to create a pot to make that directional arrow sign into an actual directional arrow sign. So I just picked out some of my favorites here. I think my favorite is the little black cat. So I'm going to put it like front and center. And these little rub-on transfers on the galvanized metal, so easy. Some of them, I feel like I didn't even have to rub them. But again, be careful when you're pulling the little cover sheet off. If you didn't get it all down, you're going to want to put it right back down and then you can finish it off. On this, I could kind of tell by the color changing whether it had transferred or not. So I got like 4 big ones on there. I do have some extra space here, so I'm going to go ahead and just fill out with a spider over here. And I just kind of want it all over like kind of random retro Halloween pattern on this. And I'm going to put this outside, but it's going to be kind of covered on my porch. So I think it'll hold up. I have just a little bit of room left, so I'm actually just going to use the word Halloween and cut that out of a saying that was already on there. And I think that looks pretty good. I love the colors, and I think that's going to make a great base for that sign. The sign itself is pretty perfect. I don't have to do a lot to it. Just have to figure out a way to make it into a directional arrow sign. So the only thing that I want to change is it had a hanger at the top, kind of an off-center hanger, but I'm going to go ahead and just take some twine, just tie down a little bow, and I'm just going to glue that to the top of the ghost just to kind of, hide that right there. So there won't be a hole in the top of our sign. And then for the pole, I'm just going to use a Dollar Tree ruler. I love crafting with these. All you got to do is pop the little stickers off and you have some raw wood. Now, I got a little carried away. I was trying to set this up and I forgot to paint it. I did want to paint it, and so I glued it down first, and then I remembered I had to paint it. So I just glued it kind of to the center of the sign, kind of the center of the arrow, because the sign's kind of all over the place, but I think it's super cute. I thought about toning down the glitter a little bit, but I thought it's Halloween. I can live with the glitter, I guess. That's when I realized that I forgot to paint it. So you probably want to paint yours first, but I'm just going to paint my ruler black to kind of go with the vibe. And again, we're going to be using like a lot of black and orange and white and a little bit of wood today. I just was really going after that vintage Halloween vibe, and I'm really happy with how these DIYs turned out, and they were super easy. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop that in the little metal bucket, and then I'm going to use some of these little black stones from the Dollar Tree. I actually had some open, and so I'm going to go ahead and just fill the whole thing up, burying the ruler or the stick in between. It's going to weigh it down, make it hold up outside better, and it's going to hold the stick and the sign in place. So this is how it turned out. Our little ghost and jack-o'-lantern sign that says "This way if you dare." I think this would be really cute in an entryway. I'm going to put mine, I think, outside my front door. I think it'll be a fun, cute little Halloween DIY to greet the trick-or-treaters. And so that's our first easy Halloween DIY. Let's keep going. And I'm going to remake one of these little tinsel bats from the Dollar Tree. Now, I love remaking the tinsel items from Dollar Tree because they always have a great cage under them. Now, I was kind of shocked to find that this had like multiple pieces, like the plastic piece like bumped out there. So that had tinsel on it, which was super easy to pull out. You just have to pop that off. And so I do that on both sides. Now, the part that got tricky was the wings. So I'm going to pop those back in later to make it stronger. Otherwise, the wings are kind of not very sturdy like this. And I went ahead and removed all the tinsel off the body. If that part was easy, the part that was hard was this part. The tinsel that was glued onto the front of it. Because I'm not going to go in there and like pull off all those little tinsel strings all over. Normally, I would like to have a cleaner surface to start with. But not so much. But we're going to make it work. So this is what I've got. I'm just going to go ahead and pop the little black plastic pieces back onto the wing. Again, just reinforcing it. And what we're going to cover the bat with is that little black sun hat. This is just like the regular sun hats they have at the Dollar Tree, but I found one the other day at Dollar Tree in black. And I thought, ooh, that reminds me of Halloween. I bet I could do something cool with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the ribbon off the top. It did leave some glue on it, but easy enough to pull off. And if you can't just pull it off, you can always remove that if you have a heat gun or a blow dryer or something like that. And I thought we could just leave it intact and do a wing from each side of the hat for each one of the bat wings. So just kind of lining it up to see how big I need it. It's going to be the brim plus part of the main part of the hat. About up to here is what I need. So I went ahead and just cut the very top part off of the little black sun hat, just cutting around in a circle, and we'll save that for the bat body. So it's pretty much like the same shape for the top of the wing. So I'm just going to cut that down a little bit, save the other half for the other side. And then it's just a matter of gluing this down. I want to overlap the sides of the bat slightly just because it's a little messy with that extra tinsel that's still on there, but we're going to make it work. So I did the top part first. I did hot glue and kind of lined that up so that it would overlap the edge so you won't be able to see any of that back there. And this is going to give us a really cool woven pattern. I know that you can separate the different layers of the sun hat, but it's kind of easier if you leave it all together. But you kind of have to be careful to make sure that it stays together. So I just went ahead and glued around all of the arches there on the bottom of the wing and kind of glued it to the body. So I'm going to do the same exact thing here on the other side of our bat. I don't need all of this. I just need most of it. I'm going to glue the top part, kind of lining that up. And then I'm going to do the little body of the bat separately, but it kind of all blends in together. It turned out really cute. I've used like the little Dollar Tree purses and the sun hats for DIYs, and I always love this woven. It looks so high end when you're done. Now, I kind of have to do some cutting now to get the shape of the bat wing. So I'm going to cut, but I'm going to leave like an overlap. And you have to be a little careful when you cut this because you can get fraying where you don't really want that. So I'm going to try to work with it as little as possible. I'm just going to try to trim it, get it close to where I want it, and not mess with it too much. I'm assuming if you maybe hot glued the ends, you could work with it a little bit more without it falling apart, but I didn't really want to take any chances. So I just trimmed both of my wings down to kind of make them look like bat wings. The only trimming I did here was if there was strings hanging out, I did trim up the strings, but otherwise gonna kind of leave it as is. And then we just need to cover the body part of the bat in the center. And we have that extra piece that was the top of the hat that's going to be perfect for that. So I just trimmed down the bat wings a little bit. And now it's just a matter of getting this to work. I kind of really only need an oval shape, kind of the shape of the bat body. So I went ahead and cut the sides off the top, just kind of seeing how big I need it. I don't want it to be super wide. I want it to be covering the bat body and overlapping the wings slightly. I just left the hanger on there just because I can go ahead and use that hanger. No need to replace it. And I start here at the bottom by hot gluing that on, kind of overlapping the bottom of the bat as well. And this shape is actually going to work out really perfect for this because it does kind of lay flat if you need it to. So just moving my way up, I'm just going to hot glue that down. Also hot gluing it to the material on the wings. And then I'm just going to go ahead and hot glue the top of the head and the bat wings. I can always trim off the extra material once I get my hot glue dry. So I let it dry and then just going to try to trim this up. A little tricky, trying to get around the little bat wings here. But actually, I think this turned out really good. Now, it wasn't as easy as normal taking apart the Tinsel cage. I hope that they don't get crazy with these things in the future because they're usually a little bit easier to dismantle, but it wasn't too bad because you can't see any of that tinsel that's left over through this material. So I think we made it work. And this is my little like black wicker bat. So cute. It looks so high end compared to the tinsel bat that it was before. And this is how it looks hanging in my home. As you can see, there's a little bit of fraying on the wings, but I'm okay with that. I think it has a really fun kind of vintage Halloween vibe to it. And the color is perfect for a bat, don't you think? The black hat. Now, I found this little chalkboard at the Dollar Tree. It's a little coffin. Somebody had written on it, so it kind of had scratches on it. But we're just going to kind of make a really cute little shelf sitter Halloween decoration using some of this Halloween leather. Have you guys seen this? They have it in like maybe 4 patterns. It's so cute. I hope that they do this for every holiday because it has a great texture and it's really fun for DIY. So it's the perfect size to cover the coffin sign. So I'm just going to kind of feel for the frame and use my razor blade to cut that right where it needs to be, trying to get it as straight as I can. Check out my new razor blade. Isn't that cute? I just got that on Amazon the other day. It folds up. It's super sharp and I love the blue color. I'll have to add that to my Amazon shop. I've been trying to get some blue tools to replace some of my old rusty garage tools for filming. So I got that cut down to size, a little tight, maybe a little bit more trimming needed, and then we can attach this. Normally, I would just hot glue this down, but hot glue and the faux leather at Dollar Tree just doesn't work for me. I've had some DIYs like literally fall apart afterwards because of that. So I'm going to do Mod Podge instead. I guess you could always use tacky glue too, but I just did a thick layer of Mod Podge all over and set the faux leather on top. And it gave us this great black, orange, and white, like classic Halloween background. But then I thought it'd be really fun too to like put a little skeleton in there. These are the little skeleton garland. And I'm just gonna take one of these little guys off the end. He's the perfect size to fit in the coffin. The only thing is when they punch these, they don't punch them great, so you kind of have to weed them out a little bit. So I'm just going to go in and look for all the pieces that need to be popped out and pop them through with my weeder and then pull them on the back to kind of tear them off. The only holes that I wanted to leave on there were the ones for the top of the head. That way I don't really have to cover that where it was hanging on the ribbon. So I left those in there and they kind of cover that area, which is good. Again, I didn't want to hot glue on here, so I did switch it up to the tacky glue this time, just because it's a little heavy duty, the felt. I don't want it going anywhere. And I just kind of put the tacky glue on the back of our cute little skeleton. And then we're just going to attach him to that leather. And I really love this little coffin chalkboard. It's so cute. I don't think I've ever seen this before. It has a great wood frame on there and a black stand, and it makes a really cute, simple little Halloween sign DIY. So I love it. It's giving me a retro vibe. I think it's going to look really cute, and it's small enough that you could probably use it like on a tier tray or something like that. I'm going to use it to fill out a cabinet for Halloween. And this is how he turned out. Isn't he super cute? I guess you could just leave the leather on there too. It'd be cute, but I kind of thought it needed somebody inside the coffin. And so that's why I got the idea to put a little skeleton in there. He's super cute, not quite creepy. Now, speaking of cute, not creepy, look at these little wreath decoration kits they have at Dollar Tree now. I picked up a ghost, and then I picked up a wood wreath from Dollar Tree. It's the first time I've DIY'd with one of those. I was shocked to open this up to find that the ghost was in 2 pieces. I really thought it was folded in there and that it was one ghost, and that was my plan. So, plan B, now I got to find a sign or something to go across the front of my wreath. And I have this hanging sign from Dollar Tree. I was just trying to decide whether it should say haunted or whether it should say Halloween. And we're just going to have to add that to my project because I don't know why that's in 2 pieces. Weird. Now, this is this black Halloween like garland they have right now with like the little creepy tree pattern. It's almost large enough to go around this wreath form, but we're going to make it work. Now, it has the branches that come out of the side. They kind of alternating going left and right. And I thought at first I wasn't going to have enough because I only have 1 package of this to make this work. But I actually was able to cover the wreath pretty well. And I don't care if you can see some of the wood through. I think that's going to be fine. So I just simply hot glue the main plastic glittery line here to it, and that's about as far as it goes. But since it has like the branches coming off of it, that's fine. I can cover up the top. Now, at first I thought about wrapping it around like that, but I found that you wouldn't be able to see it as much if I wrapped it around, and I kind of want to get the most bang for my buck. So I'm just going to hot glue it here and there with my hot glue gun, wherever I can get it to fit, so it keeps that round shape and you don't have like these branches going off wherever they might want to go. And I just kind of work in a pattern like overlapping the row before it to make it all blend together really nice. And it almost kind of has like a haunted forest vibe, but it kind of looks like a little bit like spiders too, right? And I thought that'd be a really simple wreath to attach that little Dollar Tree ghost to. So since it's a 2-piece ghost and I have to add a sign to it, I'm going to have to get started on a plan here. So I decided with haunted. I kind of like that since it's a ghost and there's no glitter on this sign. It's not quite as wide as I'd want it to, but I was able to make it work. There's also strings all over this, which I guess people use to tie it to a frilly wreath. But I just went ahead and trimmed all those off because they were just going to get in my way. And now it's just a matter of trying to figure out how to put this together. I decided to hot glue the tail here on the bottom of the sign, which I end up not liking it there, and I do end up changing that in just a minute. Now, the top part, you really kind of don't have a lot of room because you don't want to cover up the ghost face, so this one definitely needs to kind of be on the edge of the sign, and I hot glue that too. And so now the sign is attached to the ghost, kind of one unit, and we can add that to our little haunted forest wreath. Now, I put it on there and I said, my ghost looks way too long. I think it would have looked better if I would have had like the top and the bottom of the ghost touching or pretty close to it. So I just went ahead and pulled that back off. And I went up to about here with it. And that made the ghost look a little bit more proportional. Again, I wish it was 1 piece. I really, really thought that this was 1 piece, the ghost. I was surprised. And so now it's just a matter of trying to figure out how to make this work. The haunted sign barely fits, but we can make it work. And I just tie some twine in a loop around the wreath here at the top to make a simple hanger before I attach the ghost. And I'm just going to glue the little ghost head here to the very top. And I'm still having trouble with that hot glue gun. I don't know if I'm going to get it replaced a second time or if I'm just going to give up on it. But my other Ryobi glue gun worked way better. I might have to go back to that one. Now, I had it on top and I didn't really like the way that it was laying because I wanted to attach the haunted sign to the wooden wreath form. So I decided to pop it back off and actually have it look like the ghost is coming through the wreath, like that with the tail behind it. That way I could glue the sign to the sides of the wreath and make it a lot more stable. So I have a corner that overlaps right here. So I just hot glue that one down. And then I can do the same thing here on the other bottom corner. just because I don't have a lot of stability going on there, and I really want this sign to hold up. Now, I'm not going to use this on my door or anything like this. I'm just going to use this for an indoor wreath decoration, but I guess you could use it on a door. It is plenty big enough. And I also glued it on the back and then glued the tail to the back of the wreath just to make it a little bit stronger. And I also glued the arms down just to make sure this little guy is not going anywhere. And I had to change my original plan, but I think it turned out so cute. And I actually prefer the ghost coming through the wreath like that. It makes it look very ghost-like and spooky. And this is how it turned out, our little haunted ghost wreath. I think they had more than just ghosts, but I don't remember what else they had at my Dollar Tree. I've been trying to stay out of Dollar Tree because I have way too many things. Do I sound like you? And I wanted to take a quick moment out of today's video and let you know that I have memberships on my channel now. For $4.99 a month, you're going to get early ad-free access to my videos. And it's an easy way for you to support me here on YouTube and keep these videos coming. So if you hit the join button on my page, you can find out more about joining the membership. Okay, next DIY. Have you guys seen these new signs at Dollar Tree? I was able to pick them up in this like medium wood or white. I think they're so cute and they're just blanks. So they're perfect for crafting. Now I designed 3 little images that I thought were very kind of vintage Halloween. These little watercolor images. The first one here is just a simple skull. Very easy to cut out. I just printed these on my printer on regular cardstock. I always buy that at Target by the ream. I find it's easier to Mod Podge and to craft with. Because you're not going to get any wrinkling. The next watercolor image is this great little jack-o'-lantern. I think he looks so retro and cute. So we're just going to cut that out. I wanted to keep the shapes kind of simple so they would be easy to trim out. And I will share all of these printable files for you. They'll be in the description below next to the description of this craft. So the last one is going to be a cute little ghost. That was probably the hardest one to cut out, but nothing major. So I just go around all the little different tail pieces here. And this one kind of has more of a purple tint to it than I originally thought. You know, sometimes when you print it, it looks a little bit different than it looks on your printer. But I think that's okay. I think we can make that work. And I want to do a really cute little Halloween sign with these guys. So I'm going to start with some matte Mod Podge. I'm going to go all over the wood block and then lay my cardstock little skeleton right on top, adding more Mod Podge to the top, trying to keep it in one direction. The reason I do the whole sign is because I want to keep that same matte finish, and I don't want to change in like glossiness between the little character that we're adding and the background sign. So we're going to do the same thing here on this cute little jack-o'-lantern. I think he looks so cute with those round eyes. And then we're going to repeat it again here on the little ghost. And just a quick, easy DIY. Again, I'm loving these blank signs because there's nothing to dismantle. They are ready to go. You can kind of come up with whatever kind of Halloween sign you want. And I think this one turned out so much more high-end than any of the signs that you could get ready-made at Dollar Tree for the Halloween aisle. And then it's just a matter of drying it, and look how cute it looks so far. Now, I wanted to add some black to it. I didn't really have any black on it yet. And I also wanted to kind of give it like a little sticker bumpy border. So I didn't have black, but that's okay because you can always paint these little stickers from Dollar Tree. These are my favorite because they have like glue attaching one to the next. So you can pull them off in strips. So I just took some black acrylic and gave it one coat of paint. And now we have a little black little stickers that we can put all around the edges. I wanted to have a very kind of vintage, retro looking frame, but nothing too wide that was going to take away from the image itself. And these were just the right size. So this is what I mean by you can peel off a whole strip. And if your strip's too long, you can just figure out how long it is, just pull it off. And then keep going with that strip going around the sides. Now, I wasn't sure. I thought that I was probably going to have enough on one sheet of these little stickers to frame all 3 signs. And it was so funny at the end because I had exactly enough. Perfect to the very last one. So that's a fun coincidence. I thought I was going to have to open another package. But see how this gives like just a little bit of a frame to these signs, but it also gives some like kind of retro character. And I only did 1 coat, so I mean there might be a little green showing through here and there on those, which is just going to kind of make them look even more aged. And which is your favorite image here? I think mine is the jack-o'-lantern, but I really love that little skull too. Super cute and such an easy thing to do to print. I don't know. I have an EcoTank printer that I've had for, I don't know, 6 months. I absolutely love it. It doesn't take cartridges and I've never had to refill it. And you guys know I print stuff all the time. And I'll have to add that to my Amazon shop below so you guys can see what I have if you are in the market for a printer. I absolutely love it. I've went through so many printers, and this is my absolute favorite one. But this is how my little Halloween sign turned out. I think it's so sweet and cute. Not quite spooky for Halloween, but definitely cute decor. And this is how it looks hanging all together. Super fun. Now, the next item, I wanted to make my own little custom Halloween tray. So I'm going to start with one of these little bamboo cutting boards from the Dollar Tree, but I want it to be creepy and black. So I'm just going to start with a makeup sponge and some black acrylic, and we're just going to paint this black. I'm also going to paint the edges of the tray. I love these. This is just the right size for a small tray. And it's super flat, you know, no warping, anything like that. And we can kind of customize our own thing. I wanted to do a really cute little miniature scene. So it's going to be just a little custom Halloween tray. Not necessarily a tier tray. I almost called it a tier tray. But I went ahead and painted the top, the bottom, and the sides. Then for the little feet of the tray, I thought these little skeleton skulls from the Dollar Tree would be perfect. And so I'm going to just take 4 of them. I'm going to leave them as is. I'm not going to paint them or anything like that. And I thought they'd make 4 perfect little feet for a table. So to attach them, I'm going to leave them like that so I know exactly how to line it up. Put a dot of hot glue on top of each skull and then carefully center and lay my tray on top of it, trying to keep it level so that those glue on there properly. I didn't think I'd be fast enough or be able to get it even enough to do all 4 at once. But you kind of have to, you can't really do it upside down because you kind of need to know exactly where to put your glue. And so I went ahead and glued on the 2 front too. I have them all pointing the same direction, but I guess you could point the ones in the back the other direction if you wanted. More of a 2-sided tray. But this is how it turned out. Just a very cute, easy little legs for it. And I'm glad I did something Halloween for that. See how cute that is? And then I also have an idea to kind of make the back of the tray taller with one of these Dollar Tree signs. This is so retro Halloween with that black cat and the jack-o'-lanterns. It says Trick or Treat Trail, Witch's Way, and Graveyard. And I'm just going to simply glue that Dollar Tree sign to the back of our little tray right here. So it doesn't fall off and it actually becomes like kind of part of the little custom Halloween tray. And you could always put this where you put a tier tray because you're going to get plenty of height for this DIY. And then it's so easy to decorate. This is some of that brown moss from the Dollar Tree. I thought it looked creepy for Halloween. It is a little messy, but I'm just going to do like a little thin coat all over to give me a creepy like autumn ground because I want to add some fun little miniatures to this. Now finding miniatures for Halloween from Dollar Tree is hard. I found this little cat from the toy aisle and it's a little Mickey Mouse cat, but I thought we could DIY it and make it into a cute little black cat. Very easy because he's mostly black already. I just had to paint like his little paws black, his chest black. There was a little writing on the back of his head. And then, of course, his face. At first, I thought maybe I could try painting around the eyes, but I didn't think I was going to be able to get that quite like I wanted it. And they were kind of colorful anyway. And I didn't really want super colorful for this. So I went ahead and just painted the whole thing black. And I wish they had like more like fairy garden items for Halloween at Dollar Tree. Have you guys found any at your store? I've never really found any at mine. And then I'm going to do the eyes with like a little white paint marker. And I'm just going to do 2 little circles there. You can kind of see exactly where the eyes are. And then follow that up with a black Sharpie. So I kind of have control to kind of paint the eyes back on there and touch up any of the paint. And this is how he turned out. The super cute little black cat. But I was able to find fairy garden items at the dollar spot at Target, and they're only $1 for 3. So I got 3 little jack-o'-lanterns. They're all different, and the colors are perfect for like a vintage Halloween feel. And then I also found some great tombstones there. So I really love that Target dollar spot is carrying fairy items nowadays. They're so cute. I've been getting some really great ones there since Easter. So a little tombstone that says R.I.P. This one says for rent. That's kind of funny. And one more here. And I think this is going to be enough items to decorate our tray. That one says look out. And I'm not going to glue them down or anything because I want to be able to reuse this tray if I need to. And I'm just going to start kind of arranging them around, kind of make it look like a cemetery, with the little tombstones peeking out. Kind of creepy, right? And, you know, I was going to decorate like a tier tray with these items, but I think that they're a little bit too miniature for a tier tray. You wouldn't be able to see them, which is one reason why I decided to do my own custom small Halloween tray. And then here's our little black cat that we DIY'd. And then we're also going to decorate with our little jack-o'-lanterns. So cute. I can use the taller one here in the back. Opposite of our little taller cat. And then I have one left over, but I kind of wanted to use it. So I'm just going to kind of pop that there in the corner to make it a little bit more not symmetrical there. And I love how this turned out. It was so easy to do. And it's so cute for like a vintage Halloween vibe. So let me show you how it turned out. Here's that little cute little black spooky tree sign from Dollar Tree. I didn't have to do anything to it. With a little retro cat and jack-o'-lanterns. And then all of our little miniatures that we added to it with our little skeleton feet for the tray. So easy to put together, and this would be a really fun DIY for you to try this Halloween. Now, speaking of easy, this is so easy. I picked up a black candlestick from Dollar Tree and one of these like little plastic black globe balls. It does kind of have a plastic lid, which looks a little cheap. So I thought we could use some of this like orange jack-o'-lantern ribbon from Dollar Tree. Looks very classic. And just hot glue that on to that little plastic lid. That way you don't really see all that texture on there. And you can't really tell that it's so plastic. I was trying to decide what to fill this up with. I didn't really have anything that was quite the right size. I wanted something creepy to put inside of it. So I decided to fill mine with eyeballs. So see how it can just fit on there, and then you can just sit it on there. You don't have to ruin your candlestick or anything. You can always reuse it. These are the eyeballs I picked out from Dollar Tree, and I'm just gonna see how many eyeballs I can fit inside. I thought that would give it kind of a creepy look because it's kind of tinted. So if you kind of lean down to kind of look into it, you'll be able to see all these eyeballs staring out at you. And it kind of gives you that kind of creepy apothecary feel too. And they are a little hard to kind of move them around once you get them in there. And so just kind of arrange them how you will until they're kind of like going like the right direction for you. I had to mess with mine a little bit until I was happy with it, but the DIY was so easy that that was the least of our worries. So little creepy eyeballs peeking out every direction, and you just sit it on the candlestick. Super easy, like 2-minute DIY, maybe less. And I think it turned out really cute. So this is how it turned out. You know, you could put anything in there. If you had like a little creepy toy frog or something like that, you could paint it black or something like that. That'd be really cute in there as well. anything Halloween, I think. But I love those candlesticks from the Dollar Tree. I love making things out of those. And I love how this turned out. I think it's so fun. Okay, the next DIY, I picked up a Halloween sign at Dollar Tree, and then I wanted a wood round to go behind it that would not really interfere with the frame. And this was the smallest wood round at Dollar Tree I could find. I'm going to go ahead and remove the bow. I'm going to save that for later because that's perfect for retro Halloween, that black and white stripe. And then this already has a hanger on the back. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm just going to remove the glue on the front of that and then paint it so we have a background sign. I want to do like black, orange, and white are colors on this, and I want to kind of make it look old and ornate, but also a little bit of a vintage vibe. So I just wanted my background to be white. That way everything on the sign will kind of pop, being a dark color against the white. Now, it did take like maybe 3 or so coats to cover up that black writing on that board, but I just kind of painted it with white acrylic, dried it, did it till I got good coverage. Now for this part of the sign, I am going to just go ahead, cut the hanger off, and then use my hot glue gun. We are going to create tons of texture and detail to kind of make the frame look 3D. We're only going to do this on the frame part, not the center part where it says Happy Halloween and has the bats and the spiders. I only want to go around and do the edges. And I'm just using the design that's already there as reference, just doing lines, swirls, anything I can to kind of fill that up. And it's going to give it so much texture in the end. And I wasn't too concerned with making it pretty because it's Halloween, so I kind of wanted to make it look kind of crazy. So I'm also going to kind of decorate like this round part here around the frame, just adding texture anywhere I can. And then this part's really important. You're going to want to follow that up with your heat gun or a hairdryer to get rid of all the little strings of glue, because you will be able to see that when you go to paint it. So I want the majority of the sign to be black. So I'm going to go in with some black acrylic and a foam brush, and I'm just going to go all over everything. All the texture we added to it, the background sign, everything. And my white silicone mat, I think it's getting really old. I probably need to replace it. But I'm like, I didn't want to put black paint on it because it's getting harder and harder to clean for dark colors like this. So I just use one of those little cutting boards from the Dollar Tree to save me lots of cleanup time. And I'm just going to keep doing that all the way around. I did have to kind of press down on it with like my foam brush to get in between all the different layers of texture that we added to the frame. But I'm going to leave like the Happy Halloween part black to pop against that white sign that we painted. But then we're going to add this pumpkin orange acrylic to the, just to all the areas that we added and distressing the frame with that. Now painting this light or medium orange color over the black is a little tricky. I just used a makeup sponge and sponged it all over. And I did have to go on here with, I think, 3 coats to really get that orange to pop against the black. And I'm also distressing that outer frame too. I'm not worried at all about getting it on there. I think that's going to make it look old, vintage, creepy. But the black, orange, and white combined with the cool like texture just gives it a really retro vibe in the end. So that's how it turned out so far. And now it's just a matter of putting this Halloween sign back together. So the back kind of looks crazy. I'm going to go ahead and just put hot glue around the circle shape here. And that's a perfect overlap for this size wood round. I'm always trying to find like a little bit smaller wood round from the Dollar Tree. And this is a nice thick sign. It worked well. So I just kind of line it up so my hanger will be up top. Glue that onto the back. And then remember the bow that we took off of it before? I think this is going to be perfect to decorate the top of it. Looks very vintage. And I'm not going to do anything to it. I'm just going to hot glue it right here to the top. And another quick, easy vintage Halloween DIY for you. I love these like little intricate cutout signs from the Dollar Tree. For $1.25, I think they are a great bargain. I know a lot of crafters are getting those cutting machines to cut out wood items. I've really kind of avoided that because most people aren't going to have one. They're very expensive, and Dollar Tree has such great wood cutouts that I really don't think that I could justify it. So this is how it turned out. I think it's really cute. I think the colors kind of make it. Hey guys, I wanted to take a quick moment out of today's video and let you know about my private Facebook group. I always have it linked below. You're going to find out when I post new videos, and you'll get to see what everyone else has been crafting. So creative. I also have a Facebook page. I'd really appreciate if you follow. I've been posting a lot on that. I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest, and my handle is Crafty Beach on YouTube. Back to the DIYs. I'm kind of obsessed with these wood bead wreaths right now at Dollar Tree. This one is like the cube wood beads, but I love the fact that they're already stained. And I think this medium wood color is perfect. And then the little wood rounds that have the words on them from the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree fit perfectly inside there. I've done another DIY with a fall leaf similar to this recently, and that's how you know. So I picked up another one of those signs and one of the wood beads. Wreaths, and then we're just going to DIY this little sign to hang in the middle. So I'm just going to use it upside down like that. See how it fits in there just perfect? It dangles down inside. And then I have this great vintage Halloween decoration. It's like a gourd carved into a jack o' lantern, a really cool, kind of creepy looking jack o' lantern. And I just printed that on cardstock as well. And I will share that free printable with you as well so you can recreate. And I love these signs too because they're exactly 8.5 inches, which is the same size as a regular sheet of cardstock. And so I'm just going to lay my sign on there and use a pen to kind of draw out the circle shape so I'll know how to cut that down. So again, a super easy shape to cut out. We're just going to cut around our circle. And if it's a little bit too big, I can always sand it down. I just want to cover up that entire wood round with this image. So it's got our orange, black, and white. I love this vintage design. I think it's so cute. I picked the gourd shape because I thought it looked creepier. So cool. And I think that's going to go great with that stained wood bead wreath. So I do a coat of matte Mod Podge all over our wood round and just lay our image right on top. And one other thing I love about the cardstock is if you don't get it on there right the first time, you can always pick it up and reposition without ripping any paper, and that's what I did there. I don't want any of the wood showing through, so I got it lined up just perfect. Again, the width is exactly the same as a sheet of paper. And then I go over the top of it with another coat of Mod Podge, and then I give it a quick dry. Look how cute that is. Now, I did have a little bit of excess paper, so I'm just going to use a Dollar Tree sanding block and go all around the edges. At first, it kind of just folds the cardstock over the edge, but I don't really want to leave it on there. But if you then sand the side, you can get that excess paper to come off and get a really clean cut. So I'm going to do that all the way around. I'm just going to leave the wood word on the back. That's totally fine. Really nothing to cover up and a little bit too hard to remove to reuse for something else. And I got it pretty good and cleaned up. Now I just have to go ahead and poke a hole back through it. I just use a little Cricut weeder to poke a hole and kind of like peel the cardstock through the hole so it kind of looks good. And then I'm just going to tie it on with some Dollar Tree twine. So I cut a long piece of twine. I feed that through, and then we can use that to hang it inside the wood bead wreath. Now I kind of have a two-step process. So I'm going to put a little glue on here because I have to feed that through one of these hooks. And I feed that through, and then I can tie that so that I can dangle the sign exactly where I want it inside the wood bead wreath. You're going to have to test it to kind of see exactly where you want it to be. So don't tie it tight at first because you might need to change it. And then another knot to make a hanger. Such a quick, easy Halloween DIY. I think it turned out really kind of creepy, but it's also decorative with the wood bead wreath. I think it's really cute together. Definitely vintage though. Isn't that so cute? Kind of reminds me of Halloween decor when I was a little girl. Probably aging myself there, but that's okay. And this is how it turned out. I'm really loving those wood bead wreaths now that I can finally find them sometimes in my store. But I notice I usually have to go to another town to find them, to a bigger store. But this is how that turned out. I think it's so fun. What do you guys think? Okay, this DIY is going to be super easy. I'm going to use these little jack-o'-lantern fabric gift bags from Dollar Tree to make a really fun, classic Halloween pennant banner. So you get 4 in a package, and I really wanted 5. So I picked up 2 packages. Whenever I do a pennant banner, I always like it to be an odd number. I always think it looks better that way. And they're little like bags with open tops like this. So I'm just going to pop the tags out on the inside, but I'm going to leave them all sewed like that. I can always just use the top and put that over the twine to make a little pennant, and then I can trim the bottom to make them actually look like pennants. So I went through and I picked out a total of 5. Now at this point, I hadn't realized that they have different faces. See how some of them have big faces and some of them have smaller faces? I don't know why I didn't notice that, but it does affect me here in a minute because I kind of want it to be more symmetrical. But I went ahead and picked up 5 and trying to get the ones with like the straightest faces. And then I am just going to fold it in half and I'm just going to dovetail it. And that gives you that pennant banner. I don't want a triangle. If I did a triangle, I think that it would cut off part of the face. And so then I'm just going to use my leftover piece for reference so I can kind of get these somewhat even. And I'm just going to use that as a guide to cut the next one. And I'm going to do that on all 5 of them. Now, once I got them all cut out, I was looking at them and I was like, wait a minute. Some of their faces have like 6 teeth and skinny eyes. And some of their faces have 2 teeth and wide eyes. And I had like 4 of one style and 1 of the other. So I thought that didn't really make any sense. So I decided I wanted 3 of one face and 2 of the other. That way I could alternate every other one for a face. But that's okay because I have that other package of those. So I can always switch that up and make it work. It's not like a huge difference. I can kind of see why I kind of missed that at first. But we figured it out in the end. And this is going to be a really simple banner. You can hang this anywhere. I like to hang these from the top of cabinets. I'm going to show you how it looks like at the top of my coat tree in my entryway. Looks great on coffee bars. Super cute, classic little Halloween banner. And a great use for these little bags. So I take my piece of twine and I just flip over my bag. And the only exposed open part is here at the top. I'm just going to hot glue that and push that over into a little seam, a little no-sew banner, and the twine freely moves in there so I can always rearrange exactly where and how these hang and the distance in between the 2 of them. So I'm just going to continue that same thing by just laying it underneath there, hot gluing it, and wrap it around. Again, I don't really have to worry about spacing. Some of these I think I used more hot glue than the other and it kind of soaked through, but some of them I kind of had to glue both layers down like that to get it to work. And then I'm just alternating a different face each time so it kind of creates a little pattern with the different faces, just double checking myself, making sure I did it right because I almost didn't do that. And last one, same thing, glue it on there. Such an easy, fun Halloween DIY, and it definitely gives you a festive touch. This is how it turned out. Let me show you how this looks hanging. I went ahead and hung it up so you can kind of see what it looks like. Totally looks like a super cute pennant banner. Just absolutely so easy to make. And I think it turned out really cute for Halloween. What do you guys think about this one? I certainly hope you're enjoying this Halloween DIY video today. If you are, be sure to hit the like button. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. It helps my channel to grow. Also, I would love it if you would comment your favorite Halloween DIY in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers. And about 80% of y'all right now are not subscribed. So enjoy the final reveal. We're going to go over all the DIYs we made today. I want to give a huge thank you to the following Crafty Beach Bum members. Thank you to Karen O'Haron, Coastal Couple, Pamela Bergeron, I Am Mojo Jojo, Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Susan Edmonds, Sandra Ray, Carrie R., Tracy Knight, Verna Noctigal, Julie Miller, Nancy Wunner, Jan Zalata, Tammy Coates, Janae Farrington, and Pamela Wren. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. I really appreciate you all. If you would like to join, there is a join button on my channel, and it's $4.99 a month. You can cancel anytime. And I'd like to thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of my video. If you would like to watch more Crafty Beach, YouTube thinks that you might enjoy this video right here.